Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to the premiere of Sab Talk Season 2. You know what they say, new year, new you. And I took that literally, because I decided to use that New Year's motto as an excuse to redesign my SabCon. Since I felt like the old one was kind of outdated, I tried making it represent who I am now. For example, I'm taller. How about that? Okay, enough gushing about my new look, the new background behind me and all that stuff. I took a lot of artistic liberties for the new season. Let's get started with the video. In season 1, I discussed a lot of potential projects on this channel. Mainly my original content. I'm not talking about the SpongeBob openings or anything based off of intellectual property. I'm talking about full-on original content that I try putting on my channel. And since I discussed a lot throughout 27 episodes, I thought for the season premiere, it'd be a good idea to go through most of the main stuff I talked about in previous Sab Talks and recap what's going on with those at the beginning of the season. Therefore, if people get confused on what I talked about when they're jumping into the series, they know where to turn to. And since a lot of stuff is subjected to change, I think having these at the season premieres could help. Now, as that's taken care of, time for the recap. Another random day 5. In the first ever Sab Talk I ever did, I talked about a potential plot of a non-Sab focused episode where Jasmine, Ender, and Michael just have a slumber party together. And then later on in season 1, it went from non-Sab focused to primarily Sab focused since the pandemic happened, and at first I thought I was gonna get Indoors done, which was an episode where Sab's just alone in his house. I've made quite a bit of progress on episode 5, though I still haven't gotten through the cleanup phase yet, but for right now, that's not our main focus, but it is certainly happening. Untouchable. For those who don't remember, Untouchable is an Another Random Day spin-off short about Lilith struggles with dodgeball. That's pretty much all we had for that. We're still fleshing out the plot, we're still fleshing out the characters, we're still going through artists and writers. For the release date, all I can say right now is that it will probably be after Another Random Day 5. Savior of the Spirits, or SOTS for short. I was really hyping this up in previous Sab Talks. After a while of thinking, and after I've been so hyped to get this out to the world, trying to get so many artists and writers to help, I think SOTS needs a break. And I mean a long one. Mostly because I want to create something really good with SOTS, and I don't want to just rush something. I care about the idea, I care about the world, and I want to make sure the first impression of Savior of the Spirits is good. I want to wait until I'm fully ready and I'm at an appropriate skill level that I think will benefit the story. I am sorry for hyping it for like 5 years or so, but I want to make something worth it. You got game 2. I still want to work on it. Still don't know when that's gonna happen, but I definitely want to return it at some point because the reception of the first It Got game was really good, and I think it could be a good continuation. Got me a Marshy too. This one's also on the back burner. We have a good story, good couple stories. Though, for right now, I sort of want to practice CGI a lot more before making another one. I've sort of started experimenting with CGI with my entry in the SpongeBob Reanimated and Stuffies, that recent short I came out with. So yeah, we have the ideas. I just want to practice a lot more about 3D animation. And lastly, the Cringe Binge Chronicles. In the holiday special, I think I mentioned something about a deadline coming soon. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know when Cringe Binge is gonna be out by the time I record this video. It might already be out, it might have a deadline, I don't know, because I am writing this before anything was finalized. But all I can say is, the animation is done, the voice acting is complete, the sound effects are finalized, all we're waiting on is the music, and for the audio to be mixed, and once that's taken care of, Cringe Binge should be out and ready. And for episode 2, we're still fleshing out the story, which is it's Cringy and Dowie's birthday, and Laurel and Dabby have to hide the surprise from Cringy, and it's gonna be great, hopefully. Okay, now that the updates are done and over with, let's get on to some questions. SpongeBob Master says, do you know Steven is gonna be an AI? I've heard about that for quite a while actually, and I'm looking forward to it. Once it's out, I'll probably be using it a lot. Cameron James Music and Photography YouTube says, reanimate the Animaniacs old intro. Would it shock you guys that I actually considered that at one point? I wouldn't be against it. Personally, I want to spend months working on something original, and the SpongeBob opening was just kind of an exception. So I'm not going to confirm nor deny it. All I'm going to say right now is don't get your hopes up. Since you're a big @SirPello fan, then did you ever watch his fan-made Undertale animations? I haven't. I might give him a shot though. How'd you get the SpongeBob AI? I normally use 15.ai, but when that's down, I turn to vote codes. Scream the word sus in your microphone. No, make a new Sab Talk song. Maybe? I wouldn't be against sus! The new Sab Talk song. Right now I'm happy with the one I got, but if the music artist who made the original thought of something better, I wouldn't mind hearing him out. It might change, it might not. That's just not my main goal. ENZO 2020 San Millen says, Sab Nino, I want SpongeBob theme, but everything is SirPello, please. The only person who can do that justice is SirPello himself. I do not mess with the gods. Chris the Awesome Boy N says, Beg Beb should be in a comic too. I can't confirm or deny this, but I might. It really depends on what I come up with. But personally, I like the animations a lot more. They're more entertaining. Noah Lemoyne, I'm sorry if I messed that up. More Beg Beb videos. Unlike the SpongeBob openings, Beg Beb takes a lot more time to produce. Not because of the animation, it's the writing. The way Beg Beb is written is that I had to be in a very strange, experimental mood. Mindset where I don't think about what's happening and just write the most utter garbage that comes out of my head. That's how Beg Beb is created, and that's why the original turned out so weird. So as I capture that same weirdness for a sequel, that's what I want to do. Might take a little while until the next Beg Beb, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually. I loved the first one, and I'm happy a lot of people liked it too. Make your Sab avatar do a distraction dance from Henry Stickmin. I would, but I'm stilted. I don't move. Gian the Video Maker 2009 says, a redefined design plus more updates plus a shit ton of questions equals Sab Talk Season 2. Thank you for turning in your math homework. You get an A+, because that is the correct answer. I think that's a good place to end things off. I hope you guys enjoyed the season premiere of Sab Talk. If you have any more questions, please comment below, and let me know what you think of this new look. And with all that said, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. We have quite a bit of news, some good, some bad. Let's just go into the update and I'll explain. Today's update is going to be very challenging to talk about, so I'm reading this section off a script because of that fact. However, I feel like it is very important to bring up with you guys so you know what's going on. There has been a lot of drama behind the scenes regarding our upcoming show, The Cringe Binge Chronicles. Due to that, the co-creator has been kicked off the show, due to a variety of reasons. First one being mental health, and the second one being due to a hostile working environment. I had a lot of fun working with them, but I just had to cut ties due to the sake of myself, my crew, and for my fans. I was on and off about canceling the show due to the main lead, Cringe, taking heavy inspiration from them. But I think the crew and I have figured out what to do in this situation. Instead of canceling the show, we've decided to reboot it after the pilot. It'll still be the same characters and concepts, but we'll be doing as much as we can to separate the show from the co-creator. Mainly doing things like redesigning Cringe, and renaming the show so it's not affiliated with the co-creator. I feel like it's the most respectful thing to do in this situation, and I'm hoping the show will still be great going forward. Though due to this whole situation, The pilot has been postponed. Originally, I was gonna have it set for early January, but I think we need to postpone it to early February. Mainly due to the fact that we're going to redub Cringe's original voice and the theme song. Okay, now that the hard part's taken care of, let's get into the good stuff. As I mentioned earlier, me and the crew have been thinking of ways to make the show our own, and here's what we have so far. The first idea we had was, instead of naming the show the Cringe Binge Chronicles, we'd call it the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. Mainly because it sounds like a rock band and we all thought it was a badass name. Despite the name change, Cringy will still be named Cringy. We're just dropping the binge part. Me and the crew have also been doing stuff like revamping the character designs and trying to think of other ways to make the show our own. And one of the ways we're doing that is by, 1, not making the next episode episode 2, but make it the proper episode 1, and 2, doing something different with the plot. In my last Sab Talk, I talked about how the original plot was going to be about Cringy's birthday. I asked the crew what they thought about it, and I gave them a couple other ideas that I and some of the other crew have thought of. The general concept of the plot is Cringy goes to a concert with a very funny name, so Cringy must learn to drive in order to go there. So far, it's turning out really great. I am looking forward to sharing the concept with you guys, and I hope y'all enjoy it too. Now the updates are taken care of, let's get to the questions. Joshua Hunter Jr. says, I think I like the new look. It brings out the best of you a bit. Aw, thank you. SpongeBob Master says, have you played any Sonic games? I played a few Sonic games, not all the way through though. The original Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Generations, and my first introductory to the series was Sonic 06. Out of the ones I played, it's a fun series, though I'm honestly not that good at it. I need to work on the momentum. Cameron James Music and Photography YT says, if you had to pick one, which one would you go for? Yakko's World or Wacko's America? Once you've picked it, you must sing it. Don't scream into the mic. And now, the nations of the world, brought to you by Wacko Water. I don't sing. Animate your pets. I don't have any pets. Notorious JKB says, MBG. What? Thank you guys for watching this episode of Sab Talk. I'm sorry the beginning wasn't that pretty, but I feel like I needed to tell you guys what was going on so I don't leave you guys in the dust. If you have any other questions, please comment below, and it's all Sab from here.
Are you ready, kids?
I guess.
I can't hear you.
Sure, why not?
Oh. Who lives in a blue void with nothing to see?
It's Sab Nino.
Who's messy and nerdy and artsy as he?
That's Sab Nino.
If a page and answers be something you wish,
Sab Talk, Sab Talk.
then comment some questions, you son of a bitch.
This is Sab Talk, Sab Talk, Sab Talk, Sab Talk, Sab Talk, Sab Talk, Sab Talk.
This is Sab Talk.
Sim.
Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. Did you guys like the SpongeBob intro? I hope you did, because I don't know if that's gonna happen again. In terms of updates, the Grunge Bunch Chronicles is still doing stuff behind the scenes. We're still brainstorming plots and stuff. And the dub for the pilot is still going to take a while. Still hoping to shoot for early February. Yeah, there's not a lot of news this week. Maybe live streams. Let's get on with the questions. Leo Show says, hello. Hello. Gian the Video Maker 2009 says, why was the Cringe Binge Chronicles originally the Grunge Bunch Chronicles? I think he got that reversed. It was originally the Cringe Binge Chronicles, but now we're changing it to the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. It was a last minute name change. Cameron James Music and Photography YouTube says, make an episode of ARD that has the characters playing a video game and being sucked into that game that is Among Us. The characters who are crewmates have to figure out who the imposter is, and you are the imposter. But the crewmates don't know that. At the end of the game, it will be a @dream. I really went creative, and I really want this to happen, so please share this in your next Sab Talk. well, it's shared. Congratulations. I'm not gonna lie. I really like this concept. I like the idea of the characters getting sucked into a video game, and I like the concept of an Among Us type premise. The idea of characters getting sucked into a game is very fitting for another random day, especially since Sab's an inventor. And due to Sab being an inventor, I honestly wouldn't make it a dream. I just actually make it happen. Therefore, there's more stakes. Thank you for pitching the idea. It's really good. I like when people share fan ideas. Drew A says, so sorry about Cringe Binge. The reboot of it is going to be amazing. You're just saying that because you work on it. Bob! Yeah, it's a slow questions week, but hopefully the next Sab Talk will have more. Just like I said in the SpongeBob opening for this episode, comment below some more questions or ideas like that Among Us thing. Also, do you want me to do more openings like this? I'm not gonna make it a regular thing, but I don't know, it could be cool. With all that said, it's all Sab from here.
Are you ready, kids?
No, I need a break.
Come on, Sonic. People like my theme song.
True, but the original Sab Talk opening had a lot of work put into it. We shouldn't waste it for a shitty parody.
I guess you're right, Steven. Cue the intro.
Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. For once, I actually have some news, and this time it doesn't involve Grunge Bunch, but instead, another random day. This may be subject to change, but I'll keep you updated if it does. You guys remember a short little mini-series called Sab's Journal? It only had 2 episodes. What if I told you there was gonna be a third one, but it was postponed? Well, after 3 years, I'm finally starting to work on the 3rd installment of Sab's Has a Journal, titled Black Friday. And the premise is pretty much self-explanatory. It's just Sab going on a Black Friday. I wish I had this out in December, but it is what it is. And depending on if I get any more ideas, maybe I'll make more, because they are a lot of fun and more often than not pretty easy to produce. So I hope that tickles your fancy until the next episode. Now that that's taken care of, let's get on with the questions. Cameron James Music and Photography YouTube says, use the SpongeBob AI voice to make SpongeBob sing his theme song. No funny stuff. I actually made that at one point. I did type the SpongeBob theme song into an AI, and I was actually going to upload it during that week of premieres I did, with the Sponge on the Run comparison and the Beg Beb opening. That one, that whole 3-day marathon. But something weird happened. It got copyright claimed. And I tried multiple things. First, it had the actual show instrumental with the SpongeBob AI with the kids. That got copyright claimed. Then I replaced the kids with the Mr. Krabs and Squidward AI. That got copyright claimed. And my last resort was completely doing the music myself with FL Studios. And even when all the assets are 100% original music-wise, it still got copyright claimed. So as much as I want to make it, and even though I have it done, for now I can't really do it. I need some extra cash every now and again. I want to make most of my videos going forward monetizable. Make a Friday night funking animation of the BF being you and the GF, I don't know, your wife. I actually don't have a wife. I am single. Though, theoretically, I can make another random day thing with Sab and Jasmine, since they're a couple in the series. So I could do something like that, because it sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know everything about Friday night funking. I don't even know how I execute it audio-wise. I don't know. I'm not going to confirm nor deny it. Sounds like fun. I love the art style of that game. Well, are you gonna do the A or D episode? For those who haven't watched the previous Sab Talk, Cameron pitched an episode idea where Sab and the gang are put into Among Us. Right now, I'm just gonna say it's not gonna happen, but I'm not confirming nor denying your submission. But it's just a situation of It might happen, it might not, but that's not our main focus right now. Even if it did happen, it would probably be a long ways away, unless it was a short or something, but I don't know if it's gonna be a short. I'm hungry and so are you. How the heck did you know I was hungry? SpongeBob SquarePants says,
When's the Patrick intro coming? I need answers.
I'm not gonna confirm nor deny the Patrick intro. It might happen, it might not. I don't even know which one I'm gonna use, whether the Truth or Square or the one from the Spanish bumper. But depending on which one I go with, it's probably gonna take a long while. I don't have a strict answer right now. A Maze Game says, I know you're more of a cartoon guy, but what's your favorite live-action movie/series? Or do you like any at all? I've been wanting to put this off for a while. Now is the time I give a clear answer. I haven't watched anything live-action in my own time for literal years. I don't know why that is, but some part of my mind, whenever I binge something, always turns to cartoon. So it's been a while since I've seen anything live action. Most of the live action shows I've seen, I haven't seen in a good while. I used to be a big fan of The Big Bang Theory. I might have seen a little bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Modern Family was also a pretty good one back in the day. In terms of shows from my childhood, I used to watch a lot of Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious. Part of me wants to revisit Victorious on Netflix. I watched 4 episodes of The Office, and that was pretty good. Part of me wants to rewatch Friends. Most of the live-action movies I've seen recently are based off of animated cartoons. I believe the last one I saw was Sonic the Hedgehog. There was also Detective Pikachu, Aladdin. Part of me needs to rewatch Christopher Robin, but I remember that one being really good. But in terms of ones I know right now, it's mostly holiday specials, like A Christmas Story and Elf. Those are usually my main go-to during the holidays. Long story short, I need to watch more live action, but I don't because I'm a child. Drew A says, whoa! I love that opening! Anyway, serious talk now. Can you pass the salt? Here's some salt, Drew. Any particular wounds you want me to shake it on? Whoop whoop! Unlike the previous Sab Talk, this one was more question heavy. As always, if you want a question to be featured in the next Sab Talk, comment below. Thank you for your regular support, and it's all Sab from here. Everyone knows about the hit YouTube channel Sab Nino, with its rich and handsome programming that entertains most audiences. The Sab Nino fans get love and praise from the channel owner. But what happens to people who don't support Sab Nino? That's where Sab's pet monkey, Mr. Giggles, comes into the picture. Anyone who doesn't watch or know about Sab Nino's smexy content will get eaten alive by Mr. Giggles. But if you are a Sab Nino fan, that doesn't mean you're off the hook, bucko. There's fans of this channel who watch Sab Nino content, which is grand, but only come for the SpongeBob related videos. If you're one of these people, you will certainly be eaten by Mr. Giggles. He loves the taste of SpongeBob SquarePants fans the most. So remember, watch Sab Nino, and give his non-SpongeBob work a chance. Otherwise, Mr. Giggle will come for you next. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. I don't have a lot of news this week. I updated the merch store for the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. We're trying to finalize the deadline for the pilot. Let's get on with the questions. Aiden Train Dude 21 says, can you do the SpongeBob theme song intro but every syllable is square? If you start to plummet, then I'll do it. Notorious JKB says, rarely is the question asked, is our children learning? If you can find the source of this quote, I will reward you greatly. Is it George Bush? If I got the question right, can I get a cookie? Maybe cotton candy. Cameron James Music and Photography YouTube says, animate yourself to do the dance from Spooky Dance. By the way, that dance is so funny. If I can find some way to include it in a video, maybe, because I've thought about that at one point. Change the news to the last part of the vid and the questions to the beginning, because we all really don't care about the news and more about the questions. I'm sorry you feel that way about the news. You must have hated the first few episodes. I have a few rebuttals as to why I put my questions first. First off, depending on how big the news is, sometimes I do put it at the last of the video, but if it's something minor like the beginning of this video, sometimes I put it at the beginning to just get it out of the way. So it alternates depending on how big the news is. Second, I've been taught to keep my audience wanting more. Your comment actually encouraged me to keep it at the last moment. Because if people like the questions more, then why not save the best for last? I appreciate the feedback, though I'm just gonna politely disagree, but that doesn't mean your suggestion will never be implemented. Amaze Game says, you get to choose one animated kids movie to suddenly become PG-13. Therefore, they get to have one F-bomb. Which kids movie would you choose, and where would you put the F-bomb? When I first saw this question, the first thing that came to mind was Steven Universe the movie.
Holy sh**.
I don't know where I'd implement the F-bomb, if I'm being honest.
By singing some stupid f***ing song!
Christian and Thomas and Friends fan alt extra says, are you ready, kids? No, I need a break. Come on, Sonic. People like my theme song.
True, but the original Sab Talk opening had a lot of work put into it. We should waste it for a shitty parody.
I guess you're right, Steven. Cue the intro.
Deja vu. Jay Owen says, Ronald, I have a sneaking suspicion that every time I do a Q&A type thing, there's at least gonna be one commenter saying Ronald. That was what happened with the Ask Ender thing, now it's happening here. And I'll guarantee this will happen in Ask Ya Got Game. Will that happen? I don't know. Oki says, how did your college life go? When will you graduated? I actually still need to look into when I graduate. So far, college is doing pretty good. I'm learning a lot more about traditional animation and animation as a whole. I feel like it's grown, and overall, this is definitely much better than my experience with high school. Please comment below if you have any other questions for the next Sab Talk, and as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. Just like last Sab Talk, I don't really have a lot of news this week, other than the fact that we are starting audio mixing for the Grunge Bunch Chronicles pilot, and we should have the voice acting done by next week. And after that, we should be able to give you guys a deadline. Clever transition to the questions. Cameron James Music says, did you know when you search Sab Nino and go to images, you have a lot of images online? I'm aware. Post all of your SpongeBob intro parodies to TikTok. Don't use the green screen video effect. Not a bad idea, but there's a few reasons why I'm probably not going to do that. My least viewed video on my TikTok was actually a SpongeBob video. So I might have gathered a different demographic than I did with this channel. Make your name from Sab Nino to SabNino. Agree to disagree. I don't think there's much of a point to make it all one word. Especially since you could still search my name on YouTube with that exact spelling, and you'll still see me as a first result. SpongeBob Master says, do you like waffles? I love waffles. Drew A says, can you pass the salt? I already did pass the salt. You just never told me what wounds you wanted me to shake it on. Paperboy says, hey Sab, can you make the SpongeBob intro, but everyone is SpongeBob? So, pretty much 80% of the opening. At least visually. I could theoretically just use the AI for this. I don't know, I might give it a shot, I might not, really depends on my mood. Rosebud says, dear SabNino, I admire most of the fictional OC characters that you have created for your YouTube channel. I totally like the art style that you got, and the characters are so awesome sauce. P.S. I subscribe to your channel and I am so looking forward to your next animated short/video. Keep up the awesome work. From your new fan, Rose aka Rosebud. Thank you for the kind words, Rose. I'm glad you're sticking around for the channel. If you want to hear more updates about my animated content, you've come to the right place. Robert J. Squarepants says, do the Who Bob What Pants or Patrick intro, and also here's the script of the Patrick intro. I'm still on the fence on the Who Bob What Pants opening, same with the Patrick intro. And even if I did do the Patrick intro, I am probably not going to use these lyrics, I'm sorry. And there's no way in hell I am doing the big birthday blowout theme song. Just no way. I'm not doing it. It's just a ton to recreate. GTVM except 2021 and more epic says, if you created an object show, who would it consist and what would the name be? By the way, the object show example, BFDI. I'm not that deep into the BFDI community. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm that deep into the community at all. I just know it from a few episodes. If I did an object show, it probably would not be anything like BFDI. But in terms of object, Cintiq pen, coffee mug, bobblehead, a lapis gemstone, a lamp, apple juice carton, smartphone, paper towels. These are just thoughts that just came to me now. I didn't think about this question too hard. I just looked around my room, see what I had. But I don't know if I'd be interested in making a show about objects. Cameron James says, hey Sab, do your SpongeBob videos get blocked in some countries? Some of my videos actually have gotten blocked in some countries. But whenever that happens, I normally just re-upload them. There's certainly quite a bit of videos that got claimed. Most notably, the most popular video on my channel. And whenever a video does get claimed or blocked in my country, I usually try deleting it and trying to find some way to fix the problem. Because ever since I got monetized, I now go by the mantra that all of my videos going forward should be monetizable. Because I'm a greedy bastard and I want your money. Go buy my merch. I'm not that money hungry. I genuinely enjoy making this content. As always, if you have any more questions for the next Sab Talk, please comment below. Especially since news has been really slow. And it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. I'm sorry for the brief hiatus. I just had to catch up some classes, but you don't care about that. In terms of news, Grunge Bunch Chronicles is finally out. And if you haven't seen it and is an adult, please check it out. We put a lot of work into it. Also, this had the bumpiest production cycle of any of my cartoons, so any amount of attention is really appreciated. And due to the positive reception of the Grunge Bunch Chronicles, we decided that our next project is going to be another episode. Well, I wouldn't say another episode, but the proper first episode. Because you know how some shows change after the pilot? That's what we're going to be doing for Grunge Bunch. We are going to be changing a little bit of the format for the show. And that's one of the reasons for the redesigns. But the one thing we're definitely not going to change, however, are the personalities. Because we all agreed on the crew that the personalities were the strongest parts of the show, and it seems like a lot of you agreed. That and the comedy. It's still gonna be a comedy. So yeah, we have some big news. We've been also brainstorming some other smaller projects. But we'll announce those once we finalize all the details. Now that that's taken care of, let's get to the questions. Gian the Video Maker 2009 says, is that gelatin in the thumbnail? Yeah. What about it? Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, gelatin in the thumbnail's like, that's a big bump you got on your head, SpongeBob. Yep, I got gelatin in the thumbnail. I wish I knew how to comment on it. Amaze Game says, hey Sab, how are you planning on spending your Valentine's Day? I know the next Sab Talk will be after it, but still. I usually just watch Adam Sandler romantic comedies, lol. I'm actually recording this after Valentine's Day. I didn't really do that much. I treated myself to a box of chocolates. I watched the SpongeBob Valentine's Day special since that's tradition. And speaking of SpongeBob Valentine's Day, the SpongeBob Rehydrated collab did a script reading for the episode. And I helped with creating one of the images, so please check it out and support the channel. but I hope you had a good Valentine's Day, dude. Robert J. Squarepants says, "Hey Sab, what SpongeBob fonts do you know?" Bob Sponge, Checkbook, Chilled Hippie, Think Sans, the font that makes any SpongeBob fanatic cringe, Sponge Boy Contra Lucixial, Sponge Boy Me Bub, and Tiki Land. I know there's more fonts than that, but those are just the ones I own. You said in a community post you would do an ARD SpongeBob episode. Will you? First off, it wasn't going to be an episode, it was just going to be a short. And two, I don't know honestly. We've written a lot and recorded quite a bit for it. I just need to find the motivation. But I'm not opposed to getting back to it, because it sounds like a good way to merge both of my fan bases, like what Sab Talk did. Cyan Bird the Loud House Fan 2020 says, "Will you do SpongeBob singing indoors, vocoded with teapot intro?" No thanks, I'm good. SPS10 Animation says, 1. What's your favorite theme song reanimated that you really worked hard on it? The one that took the longest to make was the original intro, so that's definitely the one I'm most proud of. But the second one I'm most proud of is the pilot reanimated, mainly due to the model stretching and trying to capture the magic of the original pilot opening, just with a new CG flair. 2. Which SpongeBob BFBB version do you think is better, original or rehydrated? I recorded this so many times, it is hard talking about the differences and similarities without going on a tangent. So long story short, there's some things that the original did better than rehydrated, and there's some things that rehydrated did better than the original. For the original, I like the character designs and animation a little more on that one. Though for rehydrated, even though the original had better frame rate, rehydrated varies. I played on PC, and it ran smoothly. I personally believe that has the better moveset, especially with Patrick and Sandy. It has better texturing, and it has more polished visuals. 3. What's your favorite non-SpongeBob animation that you really worked hard on? Anything original, pretty much. Honestly, I don't like picking favorites with my cartoons because they're kind of like my family. But in terms of the ones I've worked the hardest on, Another Random Day Episode 4, Nameless's Day Off, had the most time put into it. Well, the Grunge Bunch Chronicles had the bumpiest production cycle. 4. What's your worst and best rank of SpongeBob theme songs reanimated that you did? I can't really do a full-on worst to best, but however for the best ones, I'd say the original and the pilot. So for the worst, I'd have to say the textless version of the Christmas version, because that was just something I slapped together in one night. Paperboy says, "Hey Sab, can you pass the butter?" Not until you finish your vegetables. SpongeBob Master says, "Do you have any Funko Pops?" Oh, I wish I did. Wait, were you talking about original Funko Pops or just ones that I own? I own quite a bit of Funko Pops. Yes, I do have SpongeBob Funkos. Cameron James says, "Do the Animaniacs theme song in 2-251 shot per shot remake." I'm not against it, but for now I'm going to say no. Mainly because I want to focus on some original programming. In the SpongeBob theme song International shot per shot remake, why didn't you remove the part when the kids shout and make it a full instrumental? Was it hard to remove or what? When I made that video, I couldn't find the instrumental without the kids, so that's just what I used. Why can't I become a channel member? Because I don't know how to make people channel members. I don't even know if I have the option to make people channel members. I'm an idiot. When it was called Cringe Binge, was it supposed to be cringe? No, it wasn't. As a matter of fact, the final result was pretty much the original script. The name was pretty much the only thing changed, along with Cringy's VA. And lastly, on the Cameron James bandwagon, Monkey. Oh, Mr. Giggles! Thank you for your patience for this week's Sab Talk. This one was a lot of fun. If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. It's a slow news week, but episode 1 of the Grunge Bunch Chronicles is almost done, and we are finalizing it as we speak. We've gotten feedback from all of the crew, figuring out what to tweak, what to improve. And then once that's settled, we should be able to get to the voice acting. Yay. Okay, let's get to the questions. CJ says, do you like my Winter Horrorland remake? I don't know what Winter Horrorland is, but it's a good recreation, dude. Keep it up. If you're a true Sponge fan, then what was SpongeBob's original name and why was it changed? The original name of SpongeBob was SpongeBoy, while the original name of the show was SpongeBoy Ahoy, and they changed it because of copyright reasons, mainly because it was the name of a mop. Broadly Durham says, what's your fave font? I'm not the type of guy who has a favorite font, if I'm being honest. I just live by the philosophy of, if the font fits what I'm making, then use it. If it doesn't, pick something else. Aiden Train Dude 21 says, hey Sab, do you know when the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, will release? As of the time I'm recording this, it came out today. And when the Sab Talk comes out, it should be out for a couple of days now. So happy watching. L.Sean.G LG2006 says, so, what about the Lego version of the SpongeBob theme? I just wondered. You know, recreating the SpongeBob theme in LEGO is an overdone concept in and of itself. There's even an official one that came out a decade ago, but I'm not against it. It might take a little while, and I have LEGO Digital Designer at my disposal, so I could theoretically make a CG recreation of LEGO SpongeBob. I can't do it in stop motion because LEGO SpongeBob sets are really expensive, and I'm just a broke college student, but it sounds like a lot of fun. I wouldn't be against it, but again, it might take a little while. Scuff196 says, Bahaha, that was amazing. Please bring out Mr. Giggles every opportunity you have. Don't mind me, I'm just feeding my pet monkey, Mr. Giggles. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, did you change the name to Grunge Bunge because the original name sounded too much like Spinge Binge? If I'm being honest, I wish that was the reason, because that's hilarious. But I'll give her a reason in the next few questions. Absorbency says, is Sab Nino a member of ISIS? No, we're not members of ISIS. We kill terrorists though. Alright, here's an actual question I have. Why did you change the Cringe Binge Chronicles title and character? I actually went into extra detail as to what happened with the Grunge Binge Chronicles Sab Talk 29. The co-creator has been kicked off the show due to a variety of reasons. First one being mental health, and the second one due to a hostile working environment. I just had to cut ties due to the sake of myself, my crew, and for my fans. I was on and off about canceling the show, but I think the crew and I have figured out what to do in the situation. We've decided to reboot it after the pilot, mainly doing things like redesigning Cringy, and renaming the show so it's not affiliated with the co-creator. The crew agreed that continuing the show should be fine as long as we change Cringy's design after the pilot and change the name to the Grunge Bunge Chronicles. We went through various different drafts on the renaming since we tried capturing the catchiness of the original, and we ended up going with Grunge Bunge for plot reasons. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a reason for why the show is called the Grunge Bunge Chronicles in-universe. So once episode 1 comes out, you should have a definitive reason as to why. GTVM owns an emoji. Sabpog says, I'm reanimating Give the Something. Just a quick question. How many frames are there? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. The only thing I remember is that there was a lot of cutting involved. But keep me updated on when it's reanimated. I'll give it a shout out. Thank you for watching this week's Sab Talk. If you have any other questions, please comment below. Also, to spice things up in future Sab Talks and to get more comments going, I decided to ask you guys a question each episode. And for this week's question, if you could see any of my cartoons as a Lego set, what would it be? No, the SpongeBob theme song reanimations do not count. And with that said, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. As usual, the news is rather slow this week. We finished the Grunge Bunch script. We are currently in the voice acting phase. We're also working on designs and trying to get some storyboarding done. Long story short, we're making progress. Now let's get on to the questions. Aiden Train Dude 21 says, "Hey Sab, can you do a Patrick That's a Gun meme, but instead Patrick is holding up your characters?" Since you already commented a punchline, I'm not gonna go with the punchline so I can be original. That is, if I do it. Because honestly, I thought about doing this meme for a while. But instead of just using the actual clip, I was thinking of doing a CG recreation similar to Sponge on the Run, like my SpongeBob movie Rehydrate entry. And I might still do it. All I could say is, only time will tell. Christian the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra says, "I wanna see Beg Beb the Almighty Spig in Lego." This audio track has a disconnect from the editing. There might be an image of Lego Beg Beb. Here you go if there's something on screen. If not, there's probably something random. Yeah, Lego Beg Beb. CJ says, "What font do you use for Sab Talk questions?" Can't think of the name off the top of my head when recording this, but it should be on screen right now. I'm not sure if you know this, but there's this channel called SaberSpark that his avatar looks like you with a beard. Not sure if you know, but I'm letting you know. I am fully aware of SaberSpark, and I'm actually a big fan of his content. He makes good stuff. I can easily see the similarities between May and SaberSpark, though if I'm being completely honest, that wasn't intentional. I just have square features in real life. My head's kind of square, and they wear glasses. When designing Sab, I just tried making an animated version of me. But hey, if I have to be compared with anybody on the internet, I don't mind it being SaberSpark. SpongeBob Master says, "Could you review Camp Coral?" I'm way ahead of you. Remember that Sponge on the Run discussion I did around November? Both the same people from that video, Scuff and Drew, are not only doing a podcast type review of Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Underyears, but we're also doing a video on Tom and Jerry, the movie. There's no deadline for any of these. We are still editing, but stay tuned. We will tackle Camp Coral. Brody Durham says, "Atana wa family art oshite amasuka." Though if I use Google Translate to translate it, it says, "Do you know family art?" I don't. I've never heard of it. Did my Japanese sound okay? Make the Animaniacs 2020 spin-off called Punzamaniacs 2021 coming May 1st. First off, I don't know what that is. And second, there's no way I could make a spin-off by May. Died Sab, 2011 to 2021. Rest in peace, Sab Nino. It was a good channel. For the question for this week, I was originally gonna do something Mario related because when I was recording it, it was Mario Day. But very recently, I finally reached 3,000 subscribers. So for this week's question, I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys want to do to celebrate? The only idea I really have is doing another Sab Talk live stream, but instead of it being Mr. Krabs edition, it would be Squidward edition. But if you guys have any other ideas, please comment below. But either way, the live stream's still happening. We just don't know when. If you have any other questions, please comment below, and it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For a question this week, if you could see any cartoon get turned into a Beg Beb style parody, what would it be? Comment below. I don't have a lot of news this week, just advertisements to tell you to watch the new Beg Beb spiritual successor, Simp of Boy, and the highly requested Who Bob What Pants theme song. Unfortunately, it still got a copyright claim, but I'm able to share the profit, so that's good enough for me. Please give it a watch. Okay, now let's get to the Sabtions. Get it? Sabtions? It's question, but with Sab. Laugh at my joke! Amaze Game says, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts? It would be really cool to hear your opinion on it if you have. Or if you haven't. Do you have any interest in it? I have played Kingdom Hearts. Not a lot of it though. I don't own the game personally. I just played it at my friend's house. He introduced me to the game, and I've gotten to Tarzan, I believe. I love the combat system. I love the worlds. The animation can look a little uncanny at times, but I can forgive it. But overall, it doesn't take me out of the experience that much. It's more often than not a good laugh. However, the platforming sucks. I don't know if this gets better in later games, but the platforming just sucks, especially in the Tarzan sections. But yeah, that's where I've gotten to in Kingdom Hearts, and so far I had a lot of fun. I can definitely see why people like it. Brody Durham says, make the Microsoft Cursor Pants intro. I just made the series. What? Family Mart. It's a Japanese store. Oh, Family Mart, not Family Art. Yeah, I've never heard of Family Mart either. Remake 20th Century Fox 1994 logo, and by the way, show me the font on your logo. I'm probably not going to remake the 20th Century Fox logo. And for the font for Sab Talk, I honestly don't remember. And I need to double check the one for my actual logo. I know the Sab part is lost. I could not find a font for that no matter how hard I try. So I am sorry. CJ says, make an FNF mod with USBF and that GF from ARD, forgot the name, and any rival in ARD replacing the dad for week 1. If you can't mod the audio, that's okay. Just do the characters. And yes, I know in Sab Talk 31, I ask you to do an animation, but this time I want it to be a mod. That girl in ARD is Jasmine. I'm assuming that's the girl you're talking about, not Britt, because Jasmine's Sab's significant other in the series, and the person you're wanting me to mod over is the girlfriend. You know, another random day, never had a real rival, but whenever I need a rival role, I just put Ender because she's the most fitting, but she's never been a true antagonist. She just has anger issues. I need to look into making a mod, because unfortunately I don't know how to do one. Next Sab Talk, can you put Sab Nino's sprite sheet up? Are you talking about my SabCon, the one that is on screen right now? Fun fact, this is not a sprite. All of the stills are just separate images. Hashtag verify Sab Nino. I would love that. Old CBS fan 2 Roy Neary says, what is favorite Star Trek movie? I've never seen Star Trek. SpongeBob Master says, what's your favorite Shrek movie? Unlike Star Trek, I have seen Shrek. It's just been a while since I've seen it, but I remember liking Shrek too. LG 2006 says, do you remember the new what? SBS 10 Animation says, 1. What's your behind the scenes of SpongeBob theme song reanimated? I've considered making one. I don't know when it's gonna be out. I'm not against it though. 2. What's your favorite meme of SpongeBob? There are so many memes to choose from, but I think one of my favorites is probably
I'm a hat.
3. What's your next video on SpongeBob theme song? Doodle Bob with Doodle Dimension from season 11 episode, or anime with Japanese dub, or creepypasta, or rubber hose / 1930 style? These are good ideas, though if I'm being completely honest, I don't know. I could do some of the international dubs if the copyright overlords are okay with it, because in many parts of the world there are so many different animations I can do. I started on a German one already. Well, some of the ideas I had was probably Spanish version, I believe, the French one, maybe the Korean one, maybe the Hebrew one. But if I did international one, it would have to have some visual variation to it, so I'm not just changing the audio. And 2, I would want to make it into one big video. So if anyone has any SpongeBob theme songs that have some huge variation to it, suggest them. Comment below. I'm not against it. I'm not doing the Persian dub though. That just reuses clips from episodes and it's unofficial anyways. So yeah, that might be my next SpongeBob theme song. So I'm sorry for all 15 of you wanting me to do the Patrick C-Star one. Or the one guy, you know who you are, asking me to use BFDI assets. If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another episode of Sab Talk. For our question this week, if you can see any existing character like SpongeBob, Sonic, Sans Undertale, in an episode of Another Random Day as a guest appearance, who would it be and what would you want them to do? Comment below. I know some of you just skipped the news part, but I think you want to sit down for this one because this is huge. Every time I post a SpongeBob related video, especially one with 3D animation, I keep getting a ton of comments saying, "Hey Sab, you should do the entire first episode in CGI." And for a while, I honestly didn't want to do it, mainly because I wanted to focus on original stuff. But due to how much support you guys have been giving me, I say my original stuff can wait. Because I'm going to be reanimating the entirety of Help Wanted in CGI. The same stylized animation from the SpongeBob movie Rehydrated collab will be integrated into a faithful recreation of the first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. The way I'm gonna be doing this is by splitting it into multiple parts. 4 parts at least, 6 parts at most, if I had to make a rough estimate. But I already have part 1 completed, and I should be able to have that done this April. So grab some popcorn and have that vintage SpongeBob plush ready, you know the one, and get ready to watch Help Wanted in a way you've never seen it before. That exciting bit of news aside, let's get to the questions. Impact says, I wonder if Beg Beb will get a movie or a spin-off. Oh yes. Beg Beb has 3 theatrical movies. The Beg Beb Movie, Beg Beb Movie Spig on Wig, the Beg Beb Movie Big on Rig. It's also coming out with a faithful spin-off, Kip Cap, Beg Beb's Utter Yeats. Christian the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, you should do Sonic the Hedgehog in the style of Beg Beb. That's actually not a bad idea. I'll consider it. Aiden the Rail Fan 21 says, hey Sab, can you do a SpongeBob and Patrick scene where SpongeBob hits Patrick with a snow shovel and says, I'm Dirty Dan, and Patrick hits SpongeBob in the head with a snow bat with a nail in it? Oh, I would. But unfortunately, I'm working on recreating the entirety of Help Wanted in CGI, so that's gonna have to wait. SpongeBob Master says, could you do a Funko Pop collection video? Why do an entire video on it when I could showcase it here? I have the SpongeBob and Patrick Christmas figures, I have the Pride SpongeBob, I got the Amazon exclusive fun one, I have the entirety of Camp Coral, the Mr. Meeseeks, Rose Quartz, Steven Universe. I had a Lapis and Pink Diamond somewhere, but unfortunately I can't find those at the moment. And I believe I have a keychain of Hatsune Miku as well. But these are 90% of the figures I own. Half of it is SpongeBob. I need to get more. But yeah, Funkos. Turn Steven Universe into Beg Beb. I've been actually brainstorming that for a while, so that's a real possibility. Clipimation says, are you going to remake the German SpongeBob theme song Christmas Who dub, since you said you're remaking the German theme song dub? No, for every international dub I do, I'm just gonna make that and nothing else. Because I'm already doing most of the variants in English anyway. And I feel like if I do that for every single international dub I do, then my content's just gonna get repetitive. So no, the German intro is just gonna stay the original. Gian the Video Maker 2009 says, Sab sus? Yes. Sab sus. CJ says, the shortest FNF cartoon you'll ever see. You know, I should really return to that. I had a Fortnite one in the works. Ever played FNF? You really like FNF, I can tell. I played a little bit of it on Newgrounds, and out of what I played, it's a lot of fun. I'm just not the best at it, but I'm sure if I practice enough, I can get better at it. I'm just not that good at rhythm games in general. Create a Minecraft server. I actually don't own Minecraft. I played Minecraft, but I don't own it. It's more of a game I play with friends, but I still love the game. It's fun. Brody Durham says, make Yakko an ARD. Maybe as a cameo. Old CBS fan 2 Roy Neary says, turn Star Trek into Beg Beb. Not a bad idea, but I don't think I'd do it justice. I barely know anything about Star Trek. If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For a question this week, what would you name the Begbeb spiritual successors, like Simp of Boy? Because honestly, calling them Begbeb spiritual successors has been kind of a mouthful. So if anyone has any shorter names or creative names, comment below. Also, for the news this week, well, it's not necessarily news, just an announcement. If you haven't seen the recent Help Wanted 3D Part 1 video, but has watched the previous Sab Talk 38, I wanted to let you guys know, since it's out, that I'm not actually reanimating the entirety of Help Wanted in CGI. That was just an April Fool's joke. So let's get on with the questions. Impact says, you should do a Begbeb styled show on Phineas and Ferb called Fin and Fur. A while back, I actually did a Begbeb style doodle of Phineas and Ferb, but that's a real possibility. Devin TR says, I got a question about Help Wanted 3D. Are you gonna use the original audio? And if not, what are you planning to do? Are you gonna dub the entire thing, or are you gonna get voice actors? Since I'm not reanimating Help Wanted, I'm doing nothing. In an idealistic world, I would just use the original audio, and since Living in the Sunlight is copyrighted, I would just replace it with regular SpongeBob music. However, if the entire audio track gets claimed, then what I do is just dub everything myself. Maybe if some VAs were interested, I'd have them on board depending on how good they do. SpongeBob would just be 15.ai because I've never heard a perfect SpongeBob impression in my life. It's sad that an AI is the best we got. Dennis says, oh yes. Oh no. Robert J. Squarepants says, are you gonna make the Ultimate Sponge-Down? The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. I don't even know what that is. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, hey Sab, can you do a reanimation where SpongeBob trips over a nail and bounces all over the place in the Krusty Krab? You're grateful you didn't ask that in the last Sab Talk because I would have blatantly lied to you. I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but for right now, I kinda need a break from 3D SpongeBob recreations. At least full-on scenes. Cause that April Fool's joke was probably the most effort I've put into any April Fool's joke. I spent weeks working on that. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, you should do a version of Begbeb called Sonic the Hedge, with Sonic's voice from vocodes. If I did a Sonic Begbeb thingy, I would have done that to begin with, because my Sonic voice is utter garbage. Fazboy Ent, official gameplay and more says, hey Sab, can you do a SpongeBob intro 3D, but it's the German localization? For now, I'm going to say I'm not gonna recreate it in 3D, but I am doing a German localization. I don't know when, but it's happening. CJ says, if I had the choice to add someone as soon guest in ARD, I would pick Sans Undertale. Megalovania, please. Do a house tour. My house isn't presentable right now. I need to tidy up. If I tidy up, then maybe I'll do a house tour. SpongeBob Master says, you should add Steven to ARD. I haven't done that, but I have added Connie from Steven Universe at one point. However, I'm not against putting Steven in ARD as like a cameo. Have you ever eaten Begbeb cereal? I have way back in the day. Unfortunately, it didn't taste that good. It just tasted like sandpaper and Lego bricks. I'm pretty sure it electrocuted me as well. I had to go to a hospital. Then I tried eating the Begbeb cereal that was meant to promote Spig on Ringe. However, this time, it didn't taste like sandpaper, but instead bricks. It didn't electrocute me, but I did get severe food poisoning, to the point where I had to get my appendix removed. Don't eat Begbeb cereal. They are purposely trying to kill you. Same with the Begbeb Lego. I left them alone unattended for 1 minute, and they put malware on my computer. If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to the 40th episode of Sab Talk. 10 episodes away from 50. For our question this week, what is your favorite Sab Talk thumbnail? Whether it be for what's presented, the absurdity of it. If you want to get really fancy, what's your favorite Sab Talk video in general? I'm honestly proud of the one that's shown on screen. Okay, news. We've been very busy with concept art for the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. The main thing we're focusing on is props and backgrounds, trying to make sure everything looks good. And so far, I'm really proud of the results, but I don't want to reveal anything yet. So, with all that said and done, let's get on with the questions. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, "Hey Sab, where do your fans on YouTube ask questions besides the comment section? On my Discord server, I added a Sab Talk chat, so sometimes people comment there, but we haven't had that in a while." CJ says, "Make that Megalovania remix you did into a full remix." Not happening. I knew it was an April Fool's joke! Congratulations, you are one smart cookie. Do cookies have intelligence? Do they even have brains? How do you get on the question of the week? I just think of something random. Monkey. I know the drill. Mr. Giggles. Do you like the new logo? New logo? What new logo? Robert J. Squarepants says, "Hey, will you make an episode of Beg Beb called Tea at Dome?" That's a real possibility. I might. I don't know when it's happening, but there's a huge chance of it. Jot's Colorado Production says, "I got a Beg Beb style for Thomas the Tank Engine called Tom the Tank Engineer and Friend." Maybe? Dream Mind Block Speeder says, 3rd, 40th. Anakin says, "If you didn't want to animate Help Wanted all by yourself, then why don't you ask Hot Diggity Demon to help you out? He's a really good animator, and he can handle both 3D and 2D really well. By the way, you can put this in the next Sab Talk. Bet he has a Discord server, and he can help you out somehow." Although it would be pretty cool to have some animation assistance from Hot Diggity Demon. I personally don't want to reanimate the entirety of Help Wanted, even if I did have help. If I want to put all my time and resources into one big project, especially for 11 minutes, I'd rather it's something be original opposed to reanimating something shot for shot. Besides, there's a Help Wanted reanimated collab. If you want to see the episode reanimated, just watch that. Brody Durham says, "Do an inflation video." Carrie Rhodes says, "I liked your Who Bought What Pants video. I put it in my favorite video playlist. I have some questions also. 1. What do you think how SpongeBob SquarePants is going to this day?" Honestly, I think it's cool. Especially since SpongeBob, instead of just dumbing down the characters and doing the same stuff over and over, I like how recently they've been experimenting with a lot more concepts, especially the animation. 2. Do you think SpongeBob got better during the second part of Season 9? Absolutely. Season 9B is actually one of my favorite seasons. What are your thoughts about Rocko's Modern Life and the Ren and Stimpy show? Just an unrelated question. Look, if you want to ask me non-SpongeBob related questions, please do so. It's not unrelated. Sab Talk isn't solely SpongeBob focused. Please, any non-SpongeBob questions you guys have, please don't be afraid to ask because it adds variety. I haven't seen a lot of Rocko's Modern Life. Last time I watched it was when I was younger, and I remember it being pretty good, but I wouldn't be against rewatching it again. I've seen Status Cling though. Excellent finale. And for a Ren and Stimpy show, I watched that a lot more recently than Rocko's Modern Life, but it's still been like a couple years. Still gets a laugh out of me to this day. I do not support the creator, but I love the show. And there are a lot of other talent that made it great. How can you describe the quality of SpongeBob SquarePants from seasons 8 to season 11? Season 8, I always consider it to be okay, though it's definitely a breath of fresh air compared to season 7. Because the last time I binged through season 7, it almost put me to sleep. That's how bland and forgettable that season is, but season 8 is a step in the right direction. It has a lot of good ideas, and I like how it experimented with different stories. It wasn't that funny, and it had a lot of bad episodes, but I definitely prefer that than something that flat out bores me. Unfortunately, season 9A also kind of had the same problem with season 7. 9B I loved. Season 10 is also one of my favorite seasons. I also consider season 11 to 12 just okay. The good episodes are good, but there's only a few instances where episodes are flat out bad. SpongeBob is one mixed bag of a show, so sometimes with a lot of seasons you gotta take the good with the bad. If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. For a question this week, what is the most underrated SpongeBob game? Personally, I think that's Atlantis Squarepantis for the DS. Trust me, it is much better than the console version. That is the only reason for this question, to just let you guys know that. We don't really have a lot of news this week, except for the fact that we should have everything fully voice acted for Grunge Bunge episode 1 by next week or so. Also, designs are still being worked on. That's it. That's all we have this week. So, let's answer the questionnaires. Damon Davis says, can you do SpongeBob Sports Pants theme song, please? And there's an emoji with a goat farting out of fire. Originally, I said no to this around the time it came out, but now I'm just gonna say maybe. SpongeBob Master says, you should do a Big Beb style for ARD, Grunge Bunge, or Sab Talk. Oh boy, imagine a Big Beb type Sab Talk. That'd be hilarious. But that might happen. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, what are your thoughts on Quarantine Crab? It's pretty good. It kept my attention. I liked the character dynamics. It got a good laugh out of me. Though it's sad that it's not on the season 12 DVD, at least we have some evidence that it exists. And honestly, with the current stances right now, I can see why they postponed it for a little bit. But I hope they don't flat out ban it like they did with Ms. Like Crustacean. I'm still salty about that. Fazbear Ent Official Gameplay and More says, what are your thoughts on Camp Coral? Me and my good buddies Scuff and Drew are still trying to get that video done because we did work on an in-depth review of each episode that is out so far, but for short thoughts, I think it's pretty good. Elshawn 2006 says, wait, is it sus or sauce? But sauce, it's a YTP joke, but the joke in Among Us is kinda annoying though. I think it's always been sus, both in Among Us and YouTube poops. I've seen some YouTube poops say sauce, not the condiment, but SOS or sass. It really depends on what clip they're editing. YouTube poop community, sue Among Us. You guys own that joke. CJ says, have you ever played Beg Beb Fight for Bikini Bottom? Indeed I have. It's the best game in the series. Make a Beg Beb-like cartoon called Drim Plays Block Mine. Dream speedrun parody. If I do Beg Beb style cartoons, I prefer not to do any actual YouTubers. That's just not my thing. Crabaturse Carol says, do you like Parappa the Rapper? 1996 on PS1. Since I don't own a PlayStation 1, unfortunately, I never got around to playing Parappa the Rapper. But I've seen some gameplay of it, and it looks like a lot of fun. I doubt I'd be good at it since I suck at rhythm games, but I like the visual aesthetic of it. Birdie Durham says, Inflation Sab. I'm not doing that for two reasons. One, I did it in the last Sab Talk. And second, the next question. Robert J. Squarepants says, making no inflation ones will get you 1 million subs. I'm sorry, Brody. That's just too good of an offer to let down. So yeah, no inflation. I'm not doing inflation on this channel. Amaze Games OF says, you see that new King Kong vs. Godzilla movie? It's pretty rad. I've never seen King Kong or Godzilla, nor have I really gotten into it. I might have seen the original Godzilla once or twice, but it was never really something I was that interested in. Six the Dollar says, worst video game you've played? I've heard so many stories about the worst games in existence, from the Bubsies 3D to the Sonic 06s. Though I haven't really played a lot of bad games, if I'm being honest. However, so far, the worst game I've played was possibly SpongeBob Hero Pants. Not only is it the worst game in the franchise, but is probably one of the most broken and unstable games I have ever played. The graphics make the original BFBB look like rehydrated in comparison. Don't even get me started on the dialogue, especially when the meter goes up when the characters get their superhero form and they constantly remind you that the powers don't last long. I'd understand if it was just the beginning of the game, but the fact that they do it throughout the entire game, even through the final freaking levels, they feel the need to remind you that the powers don't last long. It sucks. This game really sucks. I'm so glad THQ Nordic picked up the license because whatever Activision was doing clearly wasn't working. Not even Plankton's Robotic Revenge was as bad as this. I am sorry for going on such a tangent. Would you guys want a full review of Hero Pants? I know that it's been overdone, but I feel like I have a lot to say on it. If you have any other questions, please comment them below. Or if you have any suggestions for questions to put at the beginning of the video, comment those as well. And it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to yet another Sab Talk. For a question this week, what is the best / funniest moment in Sab Talk? I asked this in a community post already, but I'm genuinely curious on what you guys think is the funniest or best moment because I might make a compilation on it. Or something. If I have the time to go through every single episode of Sab Talk. There's not a lot of news this week. We should be getting around to storyboarding the Grunge Bunch Chronicles relatively soon. It's question time! Old CBS fan 2 Roy Neary says, make a Begabeb-liker cartoon called Unikitty parody. Why not Uncat? Fazbear Ent, official gameplay and more says, somehow I'm awake at 2 a.m. but anyways, how's your day been? And what's your thoughts on the Begbeb Show Season 5 Episode 20, What Happened to Begbeb? It Robert J. Squarepants says, what's your favorite Begbeb episode? Mine is Frank Draw. My favorite episode is Hell Wasted. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, have you seen Under the Small Top and Squidward 6 Days? Yeah, I've seen them, and they're pretty good. I especially love the animation. Big Sabgus. What he said. Brody Durham says, do you watch INS by J Productions? Never heard of it. Miguel Sequeira says, make a Begbeb movie called Te Begbeb Movie Beb Koner. Are you talking about Big O Wig or Spig on Ringe? CJ says, what do you think of Plankton's Robotic Revenge? Despite most people hating on it, I just think it's okay. It's definitely not my favorite SpongeBob game in the world, but it's a good time waster. It's kind of fun to riff on and play with friends. Though I think one thing everyone can agree on is that SpongeBob's cheeks should never be below his eyes, and that the in-game models are terrible. Do you know who Brewster Films is? I don't. Just emulate Parappa. I don't own an emulator, but I know someone who does, so maybe. Yeah, this isn't the most eventful Sab Talk. So if you have any other questions, please comment them below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. For a question this week, what's your favorite cartoon other than SpongeBob? I am curious. I don't really have a lot of news this week, so I might as well just talk about what you guys want me to talk about. SpongeBob theme songs and the future of those, because I have been brainstorming on what my next one's gonna be, but I still haven't decided yet. One of them is a Lego SpongeBob opening, because I have Lego Digital Designer at my disposal. It would involve a lot of experimentation, but I feel like doing something different could help spice things up, and therefore I have some content in this series that I'm proud of. One of them is SpongeBoy Ahoy. I'm kind of on and off on that one because there's so many SpongeBoy Ahoy intros now. For now I might scrap it. If I figure out a way to make it my own, maybe. Maybe SpongeBob Sports Pants? I don't know. I'm still on and off about that one. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been kinda lazy with the international variants, like German, French, all that jazz. But the current one I'm working on is German. Now that I finally made the news section interesting, because production's been very slow on my other stuff, let's question this bitch. SpongeBob in different countries says, "Can you pass the butter please? Not until you finish your Krabby Patties." Amaze Games Off says, "Have you seen the new Mortal Kombat movie? If so, what were your thoughts? If not, what'd you think of the franchise as a whole?" I haven't seen the movie. I don't even remember if I played the game or not. If I did, it was probably one of those old arcade systems. If I played Mortal Kombat, man is it hard. Graphics were good though. CJ says, "Do Seb turns into a convertible baby meme. Emulating is free." I know that. I just don't know how to emulate. SpongeBob Master says, "Me favorite bed episode is chocolate with nuts. Me second favorite is Milk Madness." Nice. Miguel Sequeira says, "Make a season 1 through 9 episode of Beg Beb called I.O. Beg Beb." Huh? I genuinely feel bad that half of these answers are just one word. Sometimes I just don't know how to answer stuff. Brody Durham says, "Make Sab Talk Mun to and Wend." I have a hard time trying to make Sab Talk each week. There's no way I can make this a daily series. It would be pretty good for views. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be that great for editing. Not to mention, if I do it daily, questions would eventually run out. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, "Can you do the Who Bob What Pants theme, but everything is destroyed?" Wouldn't that just be the SpongeBob theme song, but everything is wrong and worse, just with Who Bob? Nah, I'm just gonna stick with the everything is wrong. If you have any other questions, comment them below. And if you have any other ideas to spice Sab Talk up, comment below. I like changing things up every now and again. It makes things more entertaining. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For a question this week, if Sab Talk had merchandise, what would it be on and what would it feature? And for news this week, please stick around. I am gonna talk about my original content first, but it's gonna be very brief. Then I'll get to the stuff that I know you guys want to hear. The first one isn't big, but I figured out what subtitles are. So I might be captioning some of my cartoons, but the first one captioned is the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. So if you want to watch that on the go and you don't have access to headphones or anything, or in a situation where you can't listen to it, then here you go. It's captioned for you. Also, me and the Another Random Day crew have done a script reading of the first 4 episodes. I managed to get all the voice cast on board, unfortunately outside of Jasmine's VA, but we had a lot of fun. It was a trip down memory lane, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Okay, now for the big news. I know last Sab Talk I talked about potential SpongeBob theme songs, and the things mentioned are still up in the air. However, I think I might have figured out what to do for my next SpongeBob opening. I've said couple of times how I've had interest in making some of the international variants of the SpongeBob theme song. And I asked you guys what format you wanted me to put it in, and most of you wanted it to be in a big long video. So that's what I'm gonna do. However, since SpongeBob has been dubbed in 30 plus languages, here's what I'm gonna do. I looked on the international SpongeBob SquarePants page in the SpongeBob wiki, and went through a lot of the languages to figure out which ones had the most unique and noteworthy variants. And after a while of thinking about it, I think I've toned the list down to a few select languages that I think would be pretty cool. I'm going to be doing the European Spanish intro, maybe the other Spanish with European Spanish visuals, I'll see about it, the French intro, the German intro, the Hebrew intro, and the Korean intro. I am considering doing a Japanese version as well, because even though that barely changed in the visual department other than some Japanese text at the beginning of the logo, I was thinking of recoloring SpongeBob like Lovely Pants, since in Japan, they apparently use this Lovely Pants palette for merchandising, and I thought it'd be really cool to just do a simple palette swap, you know? Give some Lovely Pants representation. Okay, that was a long news segment. Let's get into this. Christian the Thomas and Friends All Extra 2 says, handsome Sab word. What he said, bring out the monkey. Don't mind me, I'm just hanging out with Giggles Jr. That's right, folks. Mr. Giggles just had an adorable baby boy, and he's just as funny as Mr. Giggles. SpongeBob in Different Countries says, make episode 2 of Beg Beb called Tia Tidum. I'm working on it. Robert J. Squarepants says, OMG, Sab, SpongeBob's right behind you. Hey, SpongeBob.
Hello, Sab Nino.
Doolagoo! Maybe. Miguel Squajera says, do you watch SpongeBob Ahoy? Do you mean the intro remake? Sometimes. Kind of getting sick of them, to be honest. Marquesia Longmere says, do SpongeBob sports pants now! That's no way to talk to your YouTube authority. Next time you request a SpongeBob intro, ask politely. Notorious JKB says, within the sweaty folds of this writing, you will find a penny, an old lollipop, a Funko Pop, an entire Panda Express, and a wig that I wear to work. Now, if I give you a used napkin, will you trade me enough Pokemon cards to crush an anthill? I would, but I don't have any Pokemon cards. Fazbear N Official Gameplay and More says, oh no! I forgot, so I'll ask you this. Did you like my fan-made title cards? Oh, the ones in the SabNino Discord? Yeah, they're pretty good. Captured the Beg Bev feel pretty well. SpongeBob Master says, my other favorite cartoon, except SpongeBob, is Steven Universe, Adventure Time, A Regular Show, and Gravity Falls. You are like the only one who answered last week's question. You, my friend, have fantastic taste in animation. Cameron the Person 2021 says, I want Lego SpongeBob intro. Okay, people really want a Lego SpongeBob intro. Whoop whoop, another Sab Talk done. As always, if you have any other questions, please comment below. And are you excited for the big SpongeBob International intro? If you know of any SpongeBob intros that have significant visual variants, like not Truth or Square or Who Bob or anything like that, but dubbed SpongeBob intros with significant visual variants like the Hebrew or the German, please comment them below, because I might consider making them. And, as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to the 45th episode of Sab Talk. Can't believe we finally made it. Last week I asked the question of if Sab Talk had merchandise, what would it be on and what would it feature? And unfortunately only one person answered, being a Maze Game, who answered, I think it'd be cool to have a logo of Sab Talk on a mug, either that or a t-shirt of course. And for a question this week, favorite ice cream flavor? Sure, let's go with that. And for news this week, for once, the news actually involves Sab Talk itself. So listen up, you guys want to hear this. For less than 40 Sab Talks, episodes have had the same basic principles. I announce some news, answer questions, and make a bunch of memes in between. For a while, it was a lot of fun. But when reading every single comment in each Sab Talk, I've noticed a repeating pattern. I barely know what to say half the time. However, I am not going to get rid of the question segment, since I feel like that's become a core part of the show now, but I have decided to limit it to people who answer the question in the beginning of the video. Because one thing I've noticed is that either one, people answer the question, or people just don't answer the question at all. And personally, I feel like if more people answer the question, I have more subject matter to present. And I feel like limiting it this way could help a little bit with spicing things up and getting people involved. You know, interacting with my audience a little bit. Though you might be wondering, but Sab, if you're limiting the questions to people who answer the weekly question, how are you gonna fill up the rest of the runtime? Well, I thought of that too. What I've decided to do to fill up the extra time, so every Sab Talk isn't like a single minute, is to just tell stories. Yeah, I'm just going to tell stories about my everyday life. I'm gonna try to talk about them in a very entertaining way. I'll provide some visuals so you don't see these Sab stills while I'm telling a story. So if there's like any specific stories you want to hear, like behind the scenes stuff, or how I got into SpongeBob, maybe my experiences at the Nick Hotel, maybe Comic-Con experiences, please comment below. And despite announcing all this news right away, this isn't going to apply to today's Sab Talk because I want to give a little bit of a transition period between this current era of Sab Talk and the new era of Sab Talk where the format changes. So let's get on with the questions. Terry Rhodes says, "Hello, it's me again, and I have some questions. 1. What do you think of the Squidward reference in the episode SpongeBob and Randomland?" I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was really funny. I'm sure it scared the heck out of a lot of kids, but I thought it was a nice nod. It's a shame that it got replaced with baby Squidward pooping himself. 2. Do you know about Patrick Star getting a spin-off series of his own? I did know about it. I can't believe they ripped off the Cleveland show.
My name is Patrick Star, and I am proud to be.
That was a joke. 3. Have you seen Spooky Month from Sir Pillow? I've seen the first one. I need to check out the second one. It's pretty funny. 4. In SpongeBob SquarePants Season 10, did you know any changes from the crew members on the series? Not a lot. I know one writer worked on Adventure Time in Season 9B, and he left after that. And I know Season 10 had a Teen Titans Go writer, but that's about it. And even with that said, I could be entirely wrong on this. 5. What are your thoughts on the Amazing World of Gumball? I have not seen every single episode of the show, but out of what I've seen on reruns on Cartoon Network, I love it. I love the animation, I love the comedy, it's a lot of fun. And last, what do you think of the SpongeBob episode Fear of a Krabby Patty? I love it. Probably one of my favorite Season 4 episodes. Steve Greenblatt does a great job giving this episode its own visual touch. And there's a lot of great comedy to boot. Old CBS fan 2, Roy Neary says, remake Paramount Pictures 2002 logo, and by the way, show me the font for your logo. I actually don't remember the font of my logo, and I'm probably not gonna remake that. Sorry, dude. Aiden the Rail Fan 21 says, here's a funny thing I thought of. What if SpongeBob got replaced as Sab Nino in the SpongeBob theme song? Well, I did a Sab Talk opening if that counts. Or are you talking about the Another Random Day Sab? Because I've actually thought about it at one point, but I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Amaze Game says, what's the worst cartoon you've ever seen? Let's keep it a TV. Lord knows there's some horrid stuff on the internet. Honestly, that's hard to say. But right now, I think probably one of the worst cartoons I've seen is the Powerpuff Girls reboot. And it's even worse since I binged it immediately after I binged the original show. The animation sucks, the characters suck, they completely butchered the hottest dad in animation, Professor Utonium. Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon was pretty bad. Out of the 2 episodes I've seen, Planet Sheen was pretty bad. Season 10 of The Fairly Odd Parents always gets me in a fit of rage, but I don't know if I can really count that because I liked most of the rest of the series. For movies, I hate Scoob, and I also hate the Emoji Movie, but I might just be salty because I share the same birthday with the Emoji Movie. Food Fight just sucks. Makes good ironic enjoyment though, so I'll give them that. Robert J. Squarepants says, can you do a SpongeBob intro next for 20? I've considered it at one point, but I'm on and off. I don't know if I want to do SpongeBob parody openings, because I'm afraid eventually it would lead to SpongeBob in China. Shannon Harton says, make a Lego SpongeBob theme song and make a Minecraft SpongeBob theme song. I'm still debating on the Lego SpongeBob, and honestly, I don't want to do a Minecraft one. If you want a Minecraft SpongeBob opening, check out SpongeBob Sonic 10. That does a good recreation of it. Also, he supports the channel, so bonus points. Make a Lego SpongeBob boy and blue pop-up texting, but everything gets destroyed? How do I even answer that? You make the Lego SpongeBob and SpongeBob Ahoy, please before Command Cherry on top. Do you mean Lego SpongeBoy Ahoy? No, I'm not doing that. And yeah, that was Sab Talk 45. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, make sure to answer the question of the week at the beginning of the video, along with the question you have. And also, what kind of stories do you want to hear? Want some childhood stories, some vacation stories, Comic-Con, video game stories, production stuff? If you have any ideas, comment them below. I'd love to hear it. And as always, it's all Sab from here. 5 episodes until episode 50. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. Today is going to be the start of the new changes, so yeah, let's get into this. Last week I asked a question of favorite ice cream flavor, and here's what you guys replied with. Amaze Game says, my favorite flavor of ice cream is Snickerdoodle Chunks. Aiden the Railfan 21 says, my favorite ice cream is chocolate with chocolate jimmies, aka chocolate sprinkles. Fazbear Ent Official Gameplay and More says, my favorite ice cream is a colorful flavor that tastes like vanilla. It's called Superman. Old CBS Fan 2 Roy Neary said cherry vanilla is my favorite ice cream flavor. Notorious JKB says my favorite ice cream flavor is Harry Potter Jelly Bean Taco with Hanera and oatmeal. Okay. Lamsey Virat says vanilla is my favorite ice cream flavor. SpongeBob Masters says my favorite ice cream is vanilla or SpongeBob. And Robert J. Squarepants replied with SpongeBob Popsicle. A lot of SpongeBob Popsicles. I don't blame them though, they're good. Personally, I either go in between vanilla, mint chip, and cookies and cream. Those are all my favorites. That is if I don't count the SpongeBob Popsicle. Though that's not my favorite, it's still really good. And for a question this week, what should we do for Sab Talk 50? Because I've been trying to brainstorm that for a while, and I've been struggling, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm curious on what you guys think. Be sure to answer this question in order to get to the Q&A section of the video. For news this week, we are slowly but surely starting the storyboarding phase for GrungeBunge. That might have been a little obvious with the sneak peek, but once we have a good amount of storyboards done, or stuff near the beginning of the episode, we should be able to start animation relatively soon. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Also, in a live stream and as a separate video, I have just released Misfit News, which is a new series that I've specifically halted saying anything about until the 3K live stream. But it's a series where a bunch of cardboard cutout of SabNino characters from like GrungeBunge, Another Random Day, Gummy and Marshy, Maybe It Got Game, all those original cartoons that some of you might have seen a few of, cross over and tell you the most useless information and just banter. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. And before the Q&A starts, I said last Sab Talk that I'm going to be doing a story each week. So here's the start of that. I don't have a clever segue for this, so let's get into Sab Story Time. As most of my fan base probably knows, there are a lot of SpongeBob games out there. And more often than not, I see them every now and then at a few game stores, mostly stuff that sells vintage games. Despite this, there is one game that I have never seen in stores in my entire life. Super Sponge for the PlayStation. Also Legend of the Lost Spatula, but this story focuses on Super Sponge. Yeah, my whole life I have never seen the game physically until a couple months ago. One time I was getting Scuff196 a birthday present at my local game place. It was a cat Rosalina for those curious. And on that very day, I saw it. I saw Super Sponge for PlayStation 1 at the very top of a collection of other PlayStation games. The next time I went there, however, this time bringing Scuff, it was gone. And Scuff was all like, maybe it'll show up one day. Did it though? Keep watching to find out. Not so long after, Scuff took me to his place saying he had a surprise game. I didn't know what it was. And when I came over, said game was SpongeBob Underpants Slam. Nah, JK, it was Super Sponge. What's even more shocking was the fact that it wasn't even the one I saw. He got from another place. Our first attempt to play it didn't go so well due to not having a save cartridge, so we emulated the GBA version for the time being, since the emulated PS1 version didn't work. But a few weeks ago, we finally went back and played it for real. We had a lot of fun comparing it to the Game Boy version and noticing all the little things about it. It was a good time. So how was the game itself? I prefer the GBA version a little more. In this game, SpongeBob played heavier, the animation, though looks more accurate, wasn't as smooth, and the sound design gave us anxiety. It's no gaming masterpiece like BSBB, but I'd still recommend it to any obsessed or nostalgic fan of the series. Cause let's face it, most people who casually watch SpongeBob wouldn't go out of their way to buy this. Okay, so now that I got the story out of the way, let's get on with the questions/comments. Amaze Game says, first movie theater experience perhaps? If I could find a way to flesh it out, maybe. That's not a bad idea. Aiden the Rail Fan 21 says, can I hear a story about how you have been this week, Sab Nino? Aw, thank you. Maybe one day. Robert J. Squarepants says, so have you tried UberDuck AI? It has a Patrick, Sandy, and Plankton AI. I have a while ago, but I'm not gonna lie, in its current state, it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, which is the main reason why I'm not fully committed to using it full time. Maybe with a few patches or something else that could help fix it, I might consider going back to it because the library is really impressive and has tons of good meme material. When the Sab is sus, wouldn't that be a sub, or would it be a sass? I should have made that the question this week. Would a sus Sab be a sub or a sass? Mocking Sab Bob. What he said. So yeah, that was another Sab Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other questions, make sure to answer the beginning question, followed by the question you want to ask me. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. For a question this week, who's your favorite Another Random Day character? If you haven't seen Another Random Day, you could just say I don't know. Last week, I asked a question of what should we do for Sab Talk 50? And here's what you guys replied with. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, for my option for the 50th episode of Sab Talk, you should do a SpongeBob special. Don't tell me, I want to be surprised. Scup196 says, maybe for Sab Talk 50, you can show us your animation and music files behind the scenes. Amaze Game says, perhaps you could get a special guest to appear for episode 50, so there's 2 people to ask questions to. I don't know, lol. Fazbear and Official Gameplay and More says, just do Sab Talk before the changes, and a special 50th Sab Talk intro. Robert J. Squarepants says 50th Sab Talk is gonna be a season finale. Season finales only happen when the year ends. PR Studios says, I think you should talk about how you started the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. And lastly, CJ says, play Friday Night Funkin' for Sab Talk 50. Thank you guys for all the ideas. A lot of these sound very interesting. I don't have anything announced for that yet, but I'll keep you guys posted on what I end up doing. I don't have anything in terms of news other than the fact that I finally released Beg Beb Tiet Re and trying to make it a series where I just poorly recap episodes. Okay, that's it. So let's get into Sab story time. Don't you love costumes? Dressing up for Halloween or at a Comic-Con? Almost every con I've been to, I've showed up in a costume. And the only times I haven't is due to showing up last minute. The last one I went to, I dressed up in a Patrick onesie and brought an early 2000s plush as a decoration. Along the way, I met a lot of great people, with the first one being another Patrick. I found the creator of Big Hero 6. I met the legend Charles Martinet, I think his name is. He voices Mario, and he is probably the nicest guy I have ever met in my entire life. I could safely say I was in the same room as Tara Strong and Patrick Warburton, so that's cool. And lastly, I saw a presentation from the Phineas and Ferb character designer. And during the Q&A, I asked how he felt about the front-facing Phineas design. As you do, he hated it, calling him a clownfish. And now I tell that story every time I meet a Phineas and Ferb fan. I also got my first SpongeBob cell. It was from the chaperone. So this story so far turned out to be mostly about Comic-Cons, although I mentioned Halloween during the beginning. Well, there's a reason for that. Remember when I said I dressed up in a Patrick onesie for the con? Well, last Halloween, I upgraded to an inflatable suit. For no other reason but for this meme. I'm Goofy Goober! I got it for a Halloween party, and looking back, it honestly sucked, and I prefer not to go into detail why. But tons of people liked my costume, so it wasn't a complete bust, along with meeting some new friends that I still talk to. So yeah, costumes are great and neat to bring to an event. Thank you for coming to my Sab Talk. Get it? It's like a TED Talk, but it's a Sab Talk. Question skidoo! Amaze Game says, favorite video game soundtrack? If that's already been asked, my bad, lol. Weirdly enough, it hasn't. So congratulations, Amaze Games, you are the first one. I am a huge fan of the Mario soundtrack, especially ones from Mario Kart and Party. Galaxy's also pretty good. Even though I haven't played a lot of Sonic games, a lot of the Sonic soundtrack are bangers. A lot of SpongeBob games have pretty good soundtracks. Even soundtracks like Super Sponge, but probably two of my favorites in that series are BFBB in the first movie, because why wouldn't they be? And lately I've had the Steven Universe Save and Unleash the Light stuck in my head, which makes a lot of sense since Steven Universe's main soundtrack is a bop. It only makes sense for the games to be bops too. Robert J. Squarepants says, Neo. I don't know what he said. TR Studios says, I have only one question. If you worked on SpongeBob SquarePants, what position do you think you'd be? Since the animation's outsourced to Korea, I probably wouldn't be an animator unless it's like for promotional stuff. But realistically, I'd probably say storyboard artist, since even though I write scripts, I am not a professional at it, and more often than not, I have to have people proofread it before I animate. So yeah, maybe board artist, maybe character designer, definitely something visual. CJ says, do you work on your cartoons by yourself? Mostly by myself. Mainly in the animation department. For a lot of production before animation, like storyboarding and script writing and character designers, I haven't been doing those as much by myself, but I do have a heavy involvement, and I am usually the one that cleans it up to give the production a consistent style, and there are so many storyboarders. A lot of my cartoons are a team effort. Sometimes I make cartoons by myself, like with Big Bev or You Got Game or but most of the bigger productions nowadays does consist of a team, but I do help out quite a bit. And personally, I wouldn't have it any other way. Do you know who Rec D or SMG4 is? I don't know what Rec D is. I've seen a little bit of FMG4, though I'm not a mega fan. How do you do Patrick's voice for Big Beb? I like it. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but here's a screenshot of what I use, so yeah. Thank you for joining me for another Sab Talk. If you have any other questions, make sure to answer the beginning question, and as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For our question this week, who would win in a fight? Epic Pink 29 or Mr. Giggles? I'm really looking forward to this one. And the question last week was, what's your favorite Another Random Day character? SpongeBob Master said, my favorite ARD character is Sab. TR Studios says, here's my answer for the question of the day. I don't know. CJ says, I've only seen like 10 episodes of ARD, and my favorite character is Sab because he's a YouTuber. And SpongeBob, aka Robert J. Squarepants says, mine is nameless. Yeah, this week's pretty short. For news this week, we have finally started animation on the Grunge Bunch Chronicles. We're finally getting stuff done. I have animated the first shot, and I'm really hyped to see where this goes. Also, I have finally figured out what to do for Sab Talk 50. I'm not going to go into detail. I want to surprise you guys. There's nothing much else to say, so let's just go to Sab story time. We've all done stupid stuff as a kid, right? Well, this story is kind of about a time I messed up so bad that I've almost killed myself. It was a complete accident, but still, I wish it never happened. I was 9 years old, going on 10, and life was perfect. It was the best year of my life. One day, I was playing with my cousin from my stepdad's side of the family, and I was teaching them how to draw SpongeBob characters. First we did SpongeBob himself, but eventually they wanted to learn how to draw Sandy. So I taught them and then they drew it. Wholesome stuff, right? What the happened then? They finished the drawings and the grown-ups were outside talking. Then it was just me against the open door, and my main mission was to show the adults the crudely drawn sandy doodles we all made. So I ran over to the grown-ups thinking everything would be fine. But BAM! The sliding glass door broke into shards. Not pieces, shards. The door wasn't open at all. It was just an optical illusion. My leg, face, and part of my nose were all cut open. I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to freak my viewers out, because trust me, it was awful. My mom and one of my aunties rushed me to the hospital. I kept screaming, my mom kept crying, and the picture I was gonna show was dropped on the floor with a few blood stains. At the hospital, I drank some meds that made me all loopy to pass me out. And while taking it, I played an Atlantis Squarepantis flip phone game. I forgot what it was called, but it's pretty obscure. I don't remember much of my loopy phase other than seeing 2 of everything and then passing out. After everything was sewed, in some cases stapled, the rest of the experience was nothing to write home about. I would just moved around from place to place until it was healed. Shortly after was my birthday though, and that was fun. We went to the Nick Hotel and stayed for a couple of days. Let me know if you want me to do a video about my Nick Hotel experience. I wouldn't be against doing that. I have a lot of stories. Honestly, I didn't expect my 3rd story to be this dark, but I knew eventually I wanted to tell this. Sorry if I freaked you guys out. I tried telling it in as non-descriptive of a way as possible, because I'm sure some people are squeamish. I'm squeamish too, so no shame in that. Okay, gruesome story aside, let's get to the short question segments. TR Studio says, have you ever realized that I add your YouTube channel name in my Katie cartoon title card videos? Once I received this comment, I checked it out. Neat stuff, I'm flattered. From title alone, I could see why you put me in some of these. So yeah, thanks. SpongeBob, aka Robert J. Squarepants says, I am making a SpongeBob FNF mod. Would you like to be in the special thanks? I appreciate the offer, but I don't really know why I'd have a special thanks. I didn't contribute to it at all. And since everyone else didn't answer the question, I guess that's it. So as a friendly reminder, if you want to be featured in the Q&A segments, make sure to answer the question at the beginning of the video, though that might have been my bad. I probably shouldn't have asked such a niche question. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to the 49th episode of Sab Talk. Whoop whoop, next episode is the 50th. And for a question this week, there isn't any. Yeah, for Sab Talk 50, I am gonna just answer questions freely like I did in the good old days. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what. And for news this week, I released the ear piercing house. If you like the loud house, check that out. It's another Beg Beb style thingy. Okay, Sab story time. And this is a lengthy one, so buckle your seatbelts. I'm sure most kids have that one happy place they wish they could go more frequently than they could. For some, it might be Disney. For others, it might be SeaWorld. Maybe it's that big McDonald's. Well, for me, my happy place was the Nickelodeon Suites Resort. 85% of my childhood was in Florida, and I still visit every now and again. What's not to love? The sun, the beach, the nautical themed piers, Universal Studios, the arcade thingies I played when growing up snuck me into a bar, mosquito bites, 3rd-degree burns on your seatbelt. Okay, some of them aren't that fun, but the rest are freaking sweet. Anyway, since I've lived in Florida, the only thing keeping me away from the Nick Hotel was a 2-hour drive and our money. So we often limit it to birthdays, which I feel like is a great compromise. Especially since if I show up on my birthday, I got special perks, like choosing my character room, so that means I got a SpongeBob room almost every time I went. And a special pin. The main attractions were the swimming pool, the arcade, the character breakfast, and of course, the 40 rides. Whenever I went, I always pestered my mom to take me on the SpongeBob 40 experience over and over again. There was 2 of them. The first one is the ride everyone knows about, the one with the pickle. Though around the early 2010s, they replaced it with another one about jellyfish with decently better graphics. I don't have a preference personally. Both are good in their own way. The Great Jelly Rescue had more rewatchability though. Cause get this, there's this scene where the Flying Dutchman sends you to a room as a punishment, and the results were different in every showtime. There was the perfume department, the disco dance club, and the fondue party. The pool area was really neat. They often had game shows, and at a certain hour of the day, the big bucket at the water park would slime you. I remember one time at the game show, they asked the kid whose Vicky's dog was. They answered with Sparky. It was Doidle. So that kid accidentally predicted the future of the Fairly Odd Parents, since now we have a Sparky. Unfortunately. They also had a juice bar with SpongeBob popsicles and milkshakes. They had a slime one, and I've only tried it once. It was just vanilla with green food coloring, but it was still a nice gimmick. I loved the character breakfasts the most as a kid, and I kind of still do, since it genuinely felt like I was interacting with the characters I've loved. Some moments included me referencing obscure SpongeBob scenes to the Bob Squad as if the guys in the suit knew what the heck I was talking about, asking Cosmo and Wanda to grant me a wish, and eventually realizing as an adult that if they were real, they'd go away forever. I also hated the Dora cast since I was in that, oh, it's a baby show phase. One thing I hated the most was how Dora always kissed me on the back of my head. I don't know why she did it. I wouldn't be surprised if my mom paid her to do it due to how much I hate it. But she just did it almost every time I showed up, leaving me confused. My mom always apologized to the cast since I was quote unquote too loyal to SpongeBob. And looking back, I felt bad. Just because I didn't like a show doesn't mean I can't have fun with some colorful costumes. One of the perks of being a regular consumer was getting stuff that a regular consumer wouldn't get. For example, if you scheduled a character breakfast, you could only go at a specific time you scheduled. However, since I was a regular, sometimes I was able to go for multiple hours in a day to hang out with the characters. One time they did a photo shoot with Patrick, and I was fine taking a picture with just Patrick, nothing wrong with him. But the lady shooting the photo offered me to do one with SpongeBob as well, probably because I drew them pictures that day. The arcade wasn't much to write home about, but it was still fun. It also had some more niche games like SpongeBob Bowling and Nick Nitro. Those were a blast. There was also game shows based off actual shows like Double Dare, and they also had a stage show called the Krabby Patty Celebration. There were also things that alternated. Like one year they had a guy do balloon animals. I got a Squidward head. There was another guy who got caricatured. I got this cursed monstrosity. And one guy who did spas and fake tattoos, I think. I didn't do that one. You used to be able to rent PS2 games for your room, and that's how I got into BFBB. They could also do special birthday voicemails on the phone, and my mom paid for 2 SpongeBob ones, which I wish I recorded because I couldn't find them anywhere online. My hotel experience didn't end a childhood. I also went as a teenager, and it was just as fun, if not more so, than I was a kid. Since now I can run around freely and have as much cotton candy as SpongeBob cookies as I please. The only downside is that they never updated the computers, so they didn't work. Because they had like little computers that took you to Nickelodeon sites. It was cool and flashy. I went there every year since it shut down, which was really heartbreaking to witness, but shockingly, I didn't cry once. The first thing I saw was the characters in front of the desk being recolored to be more generic. And every instance of Nickelodeon being flashed away before my very eyes. They didn't even have SpongeBob 4D anymore. The mural on the ceiling? Gone. The statue out there a few minutes ago? Gone. The map that had a 3D SpongeBob render on it? Gone. The stage was also disappointing since it just showed Sponge out of water, which isn't bad. I love myself a movie night, but you could tell it was just some guy pressing play. Nothing spectacle beforehand or anything, just here you go, It was sad to see the place go, but I tried making the last moments worth it, even though it was hard, especially with how it looks now. It's now just a generic Holiday Inn, and whenever I see footage of it, I get sad since I know something spectacular used to be there. Long story short, I love the Nick Hotel. It was a fun place for Nickelodeon kids and people who just love mid-2000s fun in general. Eventually it got all gross and junk, which is a problem, but the events and games are enough to win me over. Did you ever go to the Nick Hotel as a kid? Comment below if you have. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I don't have a lot of questions this week, so I'm just gonna go through some of the questions that I didn't answer due to the new requirement system of answering the beginning question and just answering those to fill up the runtime. CJ says, did you do a Pico Day cartoon, and are you doing one this year? What's Pico Day? How's that FNF mod going, Sab? I'm not making the one you requested right now. I don't know if I ever will, even though it sounds like fun. But I do have another mod in the works, so I just don't know when when it will be out or when me and the crew will ever have the motivation to bring it back up. But we're making a mod. Reanimate the Tankman series. I don't know what that is. Reanimate the FNF logo. Guys, I don't do logo remakes. Please stop asking. Debbie Bly says, Dear Sab, can you do SpongeBob Help Wanted 3D, but it's not April Fool? No, I don't have the time to do that. Christiana Zolo says, for Sab Talk, did you ever saw the Gummy Bear song? Who hasn't? Squidward Fan 2807 says, hello. Hello. Christian the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, if you could visit Karate Island, what would you do? Nothing. I don't want to buy a condo. Can you make a parody of the Patrick Star show called The Pit Steak Show? Maybe if I ever do Kit Kat Beg Bed Butter Eats. That has been something that crossed my mind though. Sab eats a lemon and dies meme. Lemon. Yep, that is indeed lemon. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk 50. For our question this week, what is your favorite line of SpongeBob Burger King toys? Or a favorite line of fast food toys in general? Comment below. And for news this week, and this is a pretty big one, so listen up. I am lifting the Q&A rule of having to answer the weekly question to ask me questions. I tried it for a little bit, and I've noticed that it wasn't really making anyone happy, so yeah, go nuts. In other news, I don't know if this is out or not, but I made a video where SpongeBob sings Digital Girl and his own theme song using UberDuck AI, so that's pretty cool, and Grunge Budge is still in the work. I'm also doing a new project for class, but I don't want to reveal anything yet, so I'll keep you updated on that. It should be out in 2 months. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Something really important. Do you know Mr. Giggles? Oh well, until I remember, let's get to Sab story time. We all wear shoes, right? I know I certainly do. I'm a slip-on kind of guy myself, and my favorite pair so far was a blue pair of Adidas, since they looked like Sab shoes in another random day. After so long of wearing them, oh no, my big toe stuck out exposing my SpongeBob socks. So what it ended up doing was...
Did you guys really think I'd miss out on Sab Talk number 50?
Then a dog chewed up another.
Hello, Sab Nino.
And then I went to Universal Studios and got the SpongeBob slippers I've wanted since I was a kid. Time for question... Epic Pink 29?
In the cardboard.
I'm sorry, Epic Pink, I can't have you invade this episode. It's the 50th extravaganza, and we're on a tight schedule here.
What the heck is that?
He's my pet monkey, Mr. Giggles. He provides comic relief on the show, and eats the haters. It's a win-win.
Oh, I see how it is. I stuck around since the beginning, and now I get replaced with a primate?
I didn't replace you, Epic Pink. You just hacked my show. Besides, you've been gone since episode 20. Somebody had to fill the void.
What did you just say, punk? Oh, that's it. You're going down.
Guys, stop! We don't settle things here through violence. As a matter of fact, we've never settled things like this here at all. But if we did, we'd settle things through a rap battle.
Oh, come on. Me against a monkey? This'll be so easy.
Welcome to the craziest rap battle of Sab Talk! In this corner, weighing 0.689 gram per cubic centimeter, Epic Pink 29. And this corner, weighing chunky monkey pounds, Mr. Giggles. Begin!
My lyrics are sublime, you expect me to tip? I wouldn't pay you a dime, pulls that back, could take a dip. I'm fully evolved, I got the puzzle solved. You're an inferior species, I don't get around flinging feces. Oh yeah. You hate the haters and baiters, and constipators wiping them out like Thanos. Where's the delators? The mindless kids you entertain. I may just be cardboard, but you don't have a brain, cause you're always just gonna be number 2. While I'm totally fresh ripping rhymes like Mr. Kesh, let them decide who's the best, mess blessed. That's how you do it, baby. Let's see you top that, Mr. Screamo.
No, I can't rap like this. I'm Mr. Giggles. You're really gonna call that a diss? At least I was invited. Well, you're just a snitch. You're stuck in an era back when Trollface was relevant, but I'm hip with the times. I'm here for the hell of it. You're made from cardboard. You're making me cardboard. You're so low budget. Your car is a lame Ford. You ramble on and on. You make me snore. So weak, you can't get up when you fall on the floor. After a long hiatus, you're really begging for a comeback. You're so old. Where'd you come from? The way back? Get out. Get lost with your toxic masculinity. When people watch me, they can see that I'm a sweetie.
Mr. Giggles, you can talk? Never mind.
Oh, come on, that's the best you got? I'm gonna win by a long shot. At least people understand me.
Okay, and the winner is... Holy macaroons! I just remembered why I forgot at the beginning. Before the questions of this week, I show off the answers from last week.
And this is relevant how?
Because a few weeks back, I asked a question of who would win a fight, Epic Pink 29 or Mr. Giggles. And since this is the 50 episode special, and my fans made this whole series possible, why not let them decide who wins? Gian the Video Maker 2009 says, Senior Giggle. Notorious JKB says, I think Epic Pink 29 would win. He has a manly stench and works in a manly fight club, where the manliest men do manliest things, with a manly theme song that is only lyric bleh bleh and stuff. So yeah, Mario and Luigi plush video says Mr. Giggled, and CJ says Monkey would win.
Are you kidding me? I'm getting beat by a flippin' monkey?
Don't gloat yet, Mr. Giggles. I also did a poll, and Epic Pink 29 won there. So if you total the comments with the poll data, Epic Pink 29 won.
Yes! See, I told you that I was superior. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Pink is the manliest color alive in your monkey face.
Mr. Giggles, where are you going, buddy? Leave Sab Talk, but you can't. The people love you.
Sab, let him go. I want fair and square.
Who said this was about being kicked off the show? This rap battle was just to settle the argument between you two. I can't kick Mr. Giggles off. I love him, and he loves me.
Okay. I know I'm not wanted. It was nice knowing you.
What are you talking about, Epic Pink? You can stay too.
Really? Even if I hacked your show?
Sure, you've hacked the series, but this can be a start of a fresh new beginning. So, to let bygones be bygones, how would you like to join the Sab Talk family for real? Oh, are you crying, Epic Pink? Need a hug, buddy.
No. I'm just getting over the fact that I lost.
I love you guys. But like, in the manliest way possible.
Oh heck, all of this rapping and heartfelt moments cut the Sab Talk extravaganza short. Looks like we'll have to cut out the musical number.
You didn't tell me this was a musical.
Well, it was until this whole thing happened.
We don't have to stop. I'm a great singer. me, la 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 la. Sab Talk is the man with a plan, and that is where it's true.
Who needs a musical? Let's answer some questions. Katie the Robot says, on April 30th, The Mitchells vs. the Machines is released. And what's your opinion on it? I love it. One of the best movies of this year. Hands down. If you haven't seen it, you have no life. Watch it. I am keeping you hostage until you do. SpongeBob Master says, 1. What's your thoughts on Shrek the Third? In terms of Shrek the Third, I've only watched a little bit once in my childhood. I don't really remember that much of it. 2. Do you have any Pez? I used to, but I've been wanting to get some more. I keep seeing SpongeBob Pez dispensers in local candy shops. Amaze Game says, what is something you've always wanted to do for the channel, but are too afraid to do? Was it because it was too different from the norm, etc.? I've kind of done this before, but music. I've been very on and off about music. When it comes to like instrumentals and stuff, that's fine, but I've been very on and off about singing, mainly because I'm on and off about my singing voice. Fun fact, that musical bit, that wasn't just a joke. I actually had a Sab Talk intro written and even an instrumental for it, but I chickened out. And every time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sing this time, I always chicken out. And I don't know why. I'm just shy, I guess. I'm sure there's others, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. CJ says, I don't know what the question is for this week because you never said it, but can you do a Beg Beb style cartoon of Ed's World? Probably not. Ollie Disney CR says, do you like the SpongeBob episode in SpongeNiac? Yeah, it's a good episode. One of my favorites in season 8. TR Studios, hello, it's me again. And I'm back for some questions. One, if I had a cartoon I want to make, would you help me? Probably not. I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on. I'm a very busy fellow, so I wouldn't be able to help that much. 2, do you know about A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants? Who doesn't at this point? Very interesting stuff. 3, did you ever known about Paul Tibbitt's version of the third SpongeBob SquarePants movie? I talked about it a little bit in a now dated video, but I have been keeping track about it. The movie sounded very weird and very out there, a little too out there for my liking. 4, did you know that SpongeBob Season 9 changed showrunner from Paul Tibbitt to Mark Cirelli and Vincent Waller? I might have. And 5, what do you think of the SpongeBob episode Lost in Bikini Bottom? It's pretty good. It's fun. It's a good place to hype people up for the new era of the show. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, all extra 2 says, do a Big Bet version of Super Mario Brothers called Marbro. I have been wanting to do a Mario Brothers thing, either for the actual games or for Mario Super Show. I want to see Sab in a beach chair. Unfortunately, due to the way I was drawn, I cannot sit. All this Sab talking is good for your buns and thighs, right?
Yeah, buns and ties.
Letitia Fonseca says, hey Sab, can you do a Big Beb special called Big Ben vs. the Fat One, aka SpongeBob vs. the Big One? Maybe one day. John says, will you turn into a robot? Nah. James McHugh says, anyways, I wonder, can you do SpongeBob Jellyfish Jam, Squid Weird Song from Jellyfish Jam, and Atlantis SquarePantas? I don't know how to do that. Well, that was Sab Talk 50. I am terribly sorry for all the hiatuses. I just really wanted to make this the best it can be. Thank you all for contributing to 50 episodes, for sticking around, and for making this go as long as it did. This is now my longest running series on this channel, and I have no signs of stopping yet. So if you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Next Sab Talk is a Sponge Talk. More info in the news section. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to the 51st episode of Sab Talk. For a question this week, who's your favorite Mario character? Yeah, this is very random, but I thought it would spice things up. As a reminder, for those who haven't seen Sab Talk 50, you do not have to answer this question to be featured in the Q&A anymore. For news this week, as I said earlier, for Sab Talk 52, I will be returning Sponge Talk. Now, if you want another video that is nothing but SpongeBob, without any like original content or anything along those lines, just pure SpongeBob 24/7 in one video, here you go. So for this week's Sab Talk, if you comment, I will only be accepting SpongeBob questions. But if you have a non-SpongeBob related question, then I'll answer it in the next one after that. Now that the news is out of the way, let's get to Sab story time. Collecting. We all do it. Or at least I'm sure most of my fan base probably does it. I'm a pretty big collector, and have been for most of my life. The first thing I ever collected was those small SpongeBob cards they made back in 2006. I gotta have the collection. These two to be exact. Since I was in foster care at the time, my collection wasn't too crazy. But once I finally reunited with my mom after 4 years, oh boy, I was something else. As a kid, I was a huge collector of SpongeBob. Anything I can get my grubby little hands on, I got it. Books, DVDs, a TV, sadly not the box one, games, plushes, trash cans, lamps, rectal thermometers. Nah, I wish, but everything else was true. Plush toys made up 50% of my bed. Books flooded my cabinet. Lego sets were all over the floor. I was a complete SpongeBob hoarder, and I wish I had it documented for proof. My proudest collections were the Lego sets and Burger King toys. Yes, I say Lego sets instead of Legos. I'm not an uncultured swine. I had every single Lego set, and I'm pretty sure if you gave me the right pieces, I could build SpongeBob's pineapple from memory. The Burger King toys were a ton of fun, since unlike Lego, where I often had to wait for sets while I collect Indiana Jones to fill the void, strange choice since I've never watched the movies, Burger King always had some sort of SpongeBob promotion going on. It's like a pyramid, see? SpongeBob makes a special, Burger King makes toys off of said special, then I, the impressionable consumer, slowly kills himself and collects. But to cut it short, I'll tell you the most interesting stories from my scavenger hunt. One time I was collecting the SpongeBob vs. the Big One collection, and I wasn't even close to finishing it. So me and Mama Sab went to Burger King to see if there was any left. There weren't. So I did the most reasonable thing I could do. Cry on the floor while my mom begged for the display they still had up. I got it. I wasn't able to customize it, unfortunately, but who cares, I completed it. The other set was Truth or Square. One time, me, Mom, my stepdad, I called him Eric, were eating at Burger King, and the kids behind us just completed their collection. I was almost done with mine, so Eric smooth talked the employees and gave me the last two I needed. Did I say smooth talk? I meant kill them with kindness, but I'm assuming my 10-year-old mind thought of it as sweet talking. Sadly, everything I just mentioned is gone. It was either eaten by rats or my grandfather lied and threw them out. Dude, you could have made bank. Bikini Bottom Express now costs roughly $200. It was used, but I'm sure you could still make bank. Despite this, I still collect stuff, and still own a few things from my childhood, like the 10th anniversary TV guide and a Nick magazine, though my collection is much smaller now, and a little bit more varied. 75% of it is still SpongeBob, of course it is, but I branched out to things like Steven Universe, anime figurines. Right now I'm really big into Lego Mario. My collecting phases are very on and off. Lately, I've been really big into DS games, getting 3 SpongeBob ones, and recently bought Super Princess Peach. So if anyone has any recommendations on DS games, let me know. I have a DSi, so sadly GBA titles are out. Overall, collecting's fun. Just don't go nuts with it. That's the moral. And while we're on the subject of collecting, if you're interested, I have some cards up. Both of them I made with Scuff196. One's on my channel where I talk about Japanese Lego clones, and one on his channel where we try collecting those weird fat bobblehead SpongeBob things. You know the ones with the gummy Krabby Patties. So yeah, if you're interested, check those out. Time for questions. SpongeBob, aka Robert J. Squarepants says, SpongeBob, Big Chungus, Among Us, Matt from Wii Sports, Beanos, and Mr. Giggles versus Shaggy. Who would win? Beanos? Ollie Disney CR says, have you seen the SpongeBob bootleg creepypasta? Also, what are your opinions on it? I haven't read the creepypasta, but I've seen the image. Pretty creepy. SpongeBob Master says, have you seen cartoon beatbox battles? If so, what's your favorite episode? I have seen cartoon beatbox battles. Personally, I don't think it's amazing, but I can tell that Verberace has a ton of passion put into it, and oh boy, his animation compared to where he started and where he is now is genuinely amazing. I don't know what my favorite one is, but I find it interesting how Patrick's winning of all characters. Christian the Thomas and Friends fan, All Extra 2 says, have you seen Pat the Dog from season 13? I really want to, but sadly it's not on Amazon, it's not on Paramount Plus, and I can't find it on Watch Cartoon, and I don't have cable.
Hello, I'm Patrick from SpongeBob. Very recently, thought it was good.
CJ says, are you an Eddsworld fan? I've seen a few episodes, and out of what I've seen, they're pretty good. I'm no diehard, but I definitely appreciate Eddsworld. Whoop whoop, Sab Talk is back on schedule. If you have any other questions, please comment below. Make sure the questions are SpongeBob related, because Sponge Talk. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk 52, or Sponge Talk number 2, since this is still an episode of Sab Talk, just rethemed. Some of you might be wondering, why did it take so long to make another Sponge Talk? Well, honestly, the reason's pretty simple. A lot of my Sab Talks mention SpongeBob. From the comments, to the news, to even the thumbnails. I even did a SpongeBob theme parody, so for a while I was like, do I even need this series anymore? But then I was in the thought process of, you know, a lot of people who suggested stuff for Sab Talk 50 really wanted a SpongeBob themed one. So I thought, hey, if people weren't interested in Sab Talk 50, they can watch this instead. Though I do encourage people to watch it. We put a lot of effort into it. So here's how it's gonna go down. I'm gonna introduce it with a Sab story time. Then I'll pitch some potential ideas for videos. Then I'll end it with a Q&A. I was originally gonna talk about the Patrick Star Show, but I think I'll save that for Sab's Movie Nights, because that's also a series I need to get back to. Now that everything's cleared up, let's get to Sab Storytime SpongeBob SquarePants Edition. Out of all the videos on my channel, my SpongeBob theme song remakes, yes plural, make the most views, and are the videos that pay me almost monthly. What started as a tribute to the 20th anniversary turned into an exploitative template that's somewhat easy to reuse to make variants. Now that I make theme songs reviews, is this still a passion project, or is this just an excuse to make more money? The answer is complicated, so let's start from the beginning. It all started back in the mid-2000s. Yep, this is surprisingly enough a childhood story. As a kid, I was very fascinated by the SpongeBob theme song for some weird reason. Filming it on my tiny camera, singing it over and over, studying it frame by frame, and probably driving everyone I know insane. Due to my love for the song and its visuals, I wanted to make a storyboard. So I drew some crude images of the SpongeBob theme and laid them on my living room floor since my studio wall didn't have enough room. Since I wasn't as big brain as I am now, to an extent, I didn't know how to rip music off of CDs, and I'm unsure if YouTube video downloaders were a thing in the mid-2000s. If they were, they're probably seen as malware. So I did the most reasonable thing I could with a feeble mind like myself, put my first SpongeBob CD in the comically large radio, and get my stepdad on board. He pressed play while I filmed the boards and tried timing it to the song. A few months ago, my stepdad told me his side of the story since I didn't remember that much of it. He said that the story wasn't as simple as I thought it was. This thing took multiple takes, and I apparently cried and gave up until he told me that I could do it. The way I word it doesn't sound as emotional as the way he told me, but long story short, he used it as a teaching moment to teach me that everything will be okay. I had a bumpy childhood, so that's probably why he made that the moral. So we did it and put it in Movie Maker to give it a cruddy filter. I used to have it on YouTube, but for some stupid reason during my tweens, I had a mass delete copyright video spree. I regret it nowadays, because I could have just privated them. Hey, Tween Sab, you're a f***ing idiot! So sadly the original video is lost media, which is sad because it helped me discover who I am today. However, I tried animating the theme song after that a few more times. I did it in MS Paint, I did it in Paint.net. The only footage of the Paint.net one is someone who blatantly stole it. He even stole my newest one. There was one made in Sprite which is also lost. And I did another one in Paint.net where I tried to imitate the epic SpongeBob style guide. The best to my ability anyway. But sadly, the hard drive I had it on was wiped on accident. Due to my connection to this repetitive sea shanty, and due to how much personal connection I have to it, it's no surprise that I did it again for the 20th anniversary, since I finally knew how to animate with a real software, and due to having expanded knowledge of not only the theme song but animation as a whole, I used everything I learned from my original cartoons and my past to make the best SpongeBob theme I could. What I did first was think about what I liked about the intro, and what I like about the show in general. I started by thinking about SpongeBob's newest design. Thought about making a season 1, but the season 9 intro already did that. I considered the newest design, but I felt like it would have been too drastic. I was also afraid of comments saying, "Why did you use the new design? Old SpongeBob better! Seasons 1, 2, 3 for life!" So as a compromise, I went with the season 2 to 3 design, since it's vintage enough to be nostalgic, but modern enough to make this remake feel fresh. After that, I was thinking of other ways to make this unique. The first thing I did was painting the pirate. I wanted to stick with the original painting since I didn't think I would do it justice, and I wanted to keep Hillenburg's mouth to pay tribute to his recent passing. I didn't want to just use the original opening for that section, so I took inspiration from the Truth or Square intro and the beginning of SpongeBob 4D. The 4D inspiration is subtle, but I like the bounce and zoom when you get submersed into Bikini Bottom in the original ride, so I utilized it into the pineapple shot. I almost did CG water physics for the absorbent portion of the theme, but it didn't look that good, so I just stuck with 2D. For the shading, I took inspiration from Sponge Out of Water, since I felt like it would make the theme feel more cinematic. I made CG bubbles solely because I thought it looked cool, and I didn't want to do this international SpongeBob bubble frame by frame. For the ships, I took artistic liberties to pay tribute to the show. I decided to go with the Invisible Boatmobile, the first boating school episode, the paddy wagon, and his inflatable pants. I almost went with the bubble car from Burst Your Bubble, but I felt like it stood out a little too much compared to the other picks. And since the previous scene involved bubbles, I wanted to add more variety. I also almost added a big birthday blowout title card, but I ended up scrapping it. I forgot why. It's probably because there wasn't an HD version of the background at the time to go off of, and I forgot about during production. For the fish scene, I originally went with a simple water shot, but I decided to put Con Street below them, along with making him grind around the water to make it feel organic. I made the bamboo CG just because. Spinning and jumping parts I barely changed. All I have to say is that the backgrounds were hard to replicate. Mid-production, I changed the aspect ratio from 1920 by 1080 to 1280 by 540. Cinematic quality. I did this because I thought Sponge on the Run was going to be in that aspect ratio, especially due to the Space Cats animatic. Yeah, this opening came out a few weeks before Sponge on the Run got its first trailer. For the logo, I took inspiration from multiple sources. The blue water thing and wood were taken from the new logo. The yellow was inspired by the first merchandise logo, while the pink was inspiration from the old logo. SpongeBob drawing was also inspired by the sketch used in the 1997 pilot, which was also used in pre-hibernation week. I was originally gonna use the modern logo, just added a little SpongeBob doodle, but just like with SpongeBob's new design, I thought it would have looked too drastic. The flute part was the most drastic change from what it was originally to the final product. I was just gonna do a regular flute and just have him do the pose he did afterward in the Battle for Bikini Bottom theme. So what I ended up doing was making a CG. This was done due to a variety of reasons. The first one was so I can release it on November 6th, the same date as Truth or Square, to pay tribute to the upcoming movie Sponge on the Run, and more importantly to Stephen Hillenburg. If I did it now, I would have made the model look more like Sponge on the Run, similar to my entry for the SpongeBob movie Rehydrated. So yeah, that's the long and bizarre story of what inspired me to make the intro remake everyone loves too much. And then after that, I got constant requests of do the Christmas opening, do the international opening, do the pilot opening, do SpongeBoy Ahoy, do Lego, do German. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm just like, I have some other cartoons you can check out in the meantime. I'm not just the theme song guy. Although I often rag about it being the only thing most people want, I'm still proud of how it turned out, and I'm happy that so many people like it. Though going forward, I want to find a way to capture that spark of popularity with something else. Maybe it's something SpongeBob, maybe it's something else. But I feel like I should try to make another hit like the theme song remake still be relevant once I make every theme song I possibly could, or if I eventually get sick of it. I recently remade Astrology with Squidward, so maybe I can do something like that. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Speaking of trying to find the next SpongeBob theme song, I have some video pitches. The first one, weirdly enough, is the Truth or Square intro. The Truth or Square intro would really depend on how busy I am with other projects. but it sounds like fun. What I'd end up doing is doing something very simple and sort of easy to animate. Instead of stop motion, I'd be using 3D, and I'm thinking of using some sort of variant of my current SpongeBob model. The hardest thing might be the audio though, mainly in the vocals, because I can't use CeeLo Green. He's a celebrity and Viacom CBS will own me. But I did do an instrumental of it, and I'm pretty proud of that. So yeah, I just need vocals and we should be good in the audio department. Another idea I had was Nicktoons Summer Splash Rehydrated. This was mainly inspired by the recent Astrology with Squidward shorts I did a while back, but I thought doing a similar rig of SpongeBob and Friends would be a lot of fun. The main downside to this is that there's 20 minutes worth of Nicktoons Summer Splash shorts. And I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to reanimate all shorts. That sounds so tedious. So if I did this, I would have to shrink it down tremendously. But if we ever figure something out in terms of what shorts to pick, then I might do it. Okay, I have an idea. Comment your favorite Nicktoons Summer Splash short if you've seen it, and I don't know, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. My third pick is a continuation of one of my videos. Remember way back in the day where I compared the first movie to Sponge Out of Water in a Versus? Yeah, I was thinking something like that, just with the full trilogy. Putting it in different categories, analyzing what works and what doesn't, and really doing a deep dive of all three movies. I've already watched Sponge on the Run 4 times, so I feel like I have a general opinion of what I thought about it. So yeah, those are all my video pitches. So let's get to questions. SpongeBob Master says, what was your first SpongeBob game? The first game I actually got to play was Creatures from the Krusty Krab on the Game Boy Advance. TR Studios says, I didn't know you had the first ever SpongeBob DVD from 2002. Oh yeah, that was a gift. It's a nice DVD. It's really cool. SBS 10 Animation says, here's my SpongeBob related question. 1. What did you think of the spin-off series The Patrick Star Show? I can't say anything yet because I want to do a Sab movie night on it. 2. Which spin-off show of SpongeBob would you rather watch? Camp Coral or The Patrick Star Show? Hard to say, they're both good for different reasons, but I might say The Patrick Star Show because out of all the spin-offs so far, that one's the most unique. 3. Have you heard that Nickelodeon's getting a new game called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl? And what do you think about it? I am really hyped for it. Though I don't care what anyone says, Mr. Krabs is a requirement. He needs to be in this game. He is a perfect choice for a brawler. Actually, I made a list of all the candidates I want a DLC later on down the road, both ironic and genuine. Yes, Hugh Neutron's on it, why wouldn't he be? And 4. What's your favorite parody of SpongeBob videos on YouTube? Oh boy, hard to say, there's so many of them. An obvious contender is Uncle Al, Bang's a good one, SpongeBob's good. Christian the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, are you sure you don't want Karate Island condo? I would love to see you battle Udon. No, I have no interest in buying a condo. I'm a broke college student. Also, I wouldn't be able to battle Udon. I'd be as helpless as SpongeBob. SpongeBob the Vlogger says, 1. What do you think about the 6 new episodes of Camp Coral? I like them. The animation's gotten a lot better, and I especially love the finale. 2. Do you think SpongeBob is milking its memes with all the merchandise? Absolutely. Sometimes it can be funny. I love the fact that there's a handsome Squidward figure. Sometimes it feels very overboard. Like, do we really need a Monopoly SpongeBob meme edition? They're one step away from making SpongeBob merchandise. So if that does exist, I'll buy it ironically. But yeah, I do feel like they're milking it, and I think they should tone it down a little bit. There's more to SpongeBob than just memes. 3. Have you watched SpongeBob and Taran? I haven't watched it fully captioned, but I have seen it. I've seen the full quadrilogy as a matter of fact, despite barely understanding what it says. It's a trip. It's a real trip. I don't know how to feel about it. JP plus Protuan says, what was your first SpongeBob episode? I can't recall, but I believe it was Tea at the Treedom? But I could be wrong on that. I don't remember my first SpongeBob episode. However, my main entry point to the series is the movie, which is a fitting one. Ollie Disney CR says,
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
how tough am I? How tough am I? I reanimated the SpongeBob theme song over and over again
Yes, so?
without wanting to blow my brains out.
Right this way. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Devin TR says, questions, about only two. One, what's your favorite SpongeBob DVD from your collection? I personally like the complete season DVDs. No contest, Sponge on the Run. Cause even though it's out now in the US, I had to get this from Canada. And I am forever grateful for that. Also, I got the bilingual edition. 2, have you heard of the iceberg charts? And if so, your thoughts on my SpongeBob Lost Cut Content iceberg? So I checked it out. Good stuff. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, did you that Patrick Star now has his own show now? Who doesn't? Kahoo Hudson, who does live in a pineapple under the sea? I know it's not SpongeBob SquarePants, so who was it? Oh, that's easy. Waldorf. Sponge on the Run / Bobasponka El Rescate says, have you seen Camp Coral in German? Not yet, but I have seen the Spanish, the Portuguese, probably some other languages, and the illegal Persian dub. So that's all the SpongeBob related questions. I hope you guys enjoyed Sponge Talk number 2. I have no idea when I'll do another one. Probably in another 50 episodes. But if you have any other questions, please comment below. The next episode is gonna go back to normal, so that means you can give me some non-SpongeBob related questions to add some variety. And as always, it's all Sponge from... Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk 53. For a question this week, if you could visit any fictional world, what would it be? Last week's question was, who's your favorite Mario character? Not a lot of people interacted, but one person replied, being Christian, the Thomas and Friends Alt Extra 2, who says that my favorite Mario characters are Peach and Yoshi. Good taste, my friend. Good taste. For news this week, I remember a few Sab Talks ago I mentioned something about a project that I was keeping secret. It was a class project. Well, I feel like now is a good time to finally announce it. I am releasing a Gib short. Yeah, remember those 2 shorts I made back in the day? Yeah, I'm returning to those, but I am shying away from the traditional formula of being experimental, but instead giving Gib a narrative. It is titled, What is Gib? And it's sort of an origin story of how Gib landed on the planet, which will be his home, which I just titled The Purple Moon. That's all I feel comfortable announcing so far, but it is being made as we speak. We are in the inking phase, and I'm hoping to get it done like 3 or 2 weeks from now. Other than that, I don't really have that much news, but Grunge Bunge is also still in the works. But there's not much noteworthy regarding that, so let's get to Sab story time. Who has a birthday? Who doesn't have a birthday? I don't interrupt, Billy. I'm telling a story. I just had my birthday on the 20th of July, but had my party a day before due to classes. Yeah, that stream I had to celebrate was a week early. We celebrated by going to Dave & Buster's, but beforehand I ordered a custom cake. Every year, I design a cake with my original characters on them, and they print it with edible frosting. The common issue I have with this is that people often confuse it with copyright. And keep in mind, there's no SpongeBob, there's no Steven Universe, there's no Mario or anything like that. These are 100% my own creations. Most years I just show them my website, and I did the same thing for this round as well. However, despite this, there was still a copyright issue. And to make matters worse, the edible printer broke. So even if I did prove my evidence again, I would have still be screwed. So I just ordered the buttercream cake with nothing on it since I didn't know what to put on it due to short notice. This will change later on. Just stick around. So I Ubered to Dave & Buster's after I ordered the cake and waited for my friends to join. Since my friends have multiple roles in the story, I feel like using Toon Sab for everything would be very confusing. So for some of my friends, I'll be representing them through stock art of the characters they play in my cartoons. The people who joined were Eli, Dan, Scuff, Jasmine, and her significant other Kenneth. Ken doesn't voice in any of my tunes, nor has a persona to my knowledge, so he'll be portrayed by Epic Pink 29. Sure, why not? The first thing we did was order food and open presents. Eli gave me some Reptar pills, It was candy. Scuff gave me gummy Krabby Patties and a shirt. Jasmine gave me school supplies, and Dan gave me cake rating. Due to the cake being blank, she wrote birth on it using a fork. Not much to say while eating, but I got myself a Shirley Temple, there was trivia, and there was a moment where we thought the waiters were giving us another cake. Sure, the food was delicious, but that's not why we came here. We came for Arcade Mania! That's not what it's called. I just thought it sounded cool. For this portion of the story, along with everything else in it, I asked my friends what they thought was funny or noteworthy about the party. So if you're watching this, thanks a ton. Scuff was mega hyped for the 2-player Pac-Man, so we played that first. And both of our Pac-Man touched lips. Dan and Eli then played Dance Dance Revolution. Dan said it was a tie since they both sucked. Her words, not mine. After that, me and Scuff tried winning the SpongeBob card game. We didn't win. Me, Scuff, Jasmine, and Ken played a shooter together. I forgot what it was called, something with wolves. Ken played a Lifesaver VR rhythm game thing and played the crab rave, so the only logical thing was to dance to it. For a while, Jazz and Ken were out of the equation since we lost them. Not helping with the fact that this was an arcade, so naturally we got easily distracted. We played Monkey Ball Arcade, the only Monkey Ball game I have ever played. Mario and Sonic got the Olympic game. Eli played Shadow, I played Daisy, and Dan played Waluigi. The game was hard. My hands hurt after that. Dan also tried winning me a Pickle Rick from the Skill Crane. We didn't win it, but I got a Bart, and everyone else got a Krusty the Clown and Percy from Thomas. No, I am not a hardcore Thomas nut. I had to look up his name. Speaking of Skill Cranes, there was one with massive plushies. And the reason why I bring this up is because they had poop plushies. You may be wondering, Rose, why bring this up? They're everywhere. But here's the thing. They had one in a bow and lipstick. They literally gendered poop. I never thought I'd see the day where that was a sentence. Okay, moving on. We finally found Jasmine and Kenneth, but they had to head out due to traffic. So we said goodbye and they gave us their cards. So we did the most reasonable thing and maxed them out. One of the first things we did was exploit the ticket win games, like the ball toss, the spinny wheels, the mallet games where it's not about strength, but instead hitting it the right amount. Being delicate has its perks. Scuff was playing Stacker, and I don't know how he did it, but he legit won it first try. I couldn't believe my eyes. He did it without even trying. So I turned it into a bet. If he won, I bought him a milkshake. But if I won, nothing happened. This was my first bet, okay? I'm not good with rewarding myself on the spot. He didn't win the second round, so no monkey. One of the last things we did was VR. It was a medieval ice versus fire game. I'm bad at names, okay? Don't rub it in. It was fun. We made around 6,000 tickets total, so we split it for all 4 of us. I think Dan got a unicorn thing. I forgot what everyone else got, unfortunately. But I got a Mitchell's versus the Machines plush and a mini golf thing. Before we parted ways, Scuff actually surprised me with an animation of Wallet Arnold, the character he plays on Grunge Bun, giving me a birthday shout out. And it was one of the sweetest things I've ever had.
I come bearing a message for Sab Nino. Happy 22nd birthday, Sab.
I'll link it in the end of the video. After that, Eli drove me home, and I watched the Coco stream at the end of the day. 2 days after, I visited my fam at the mall to visit the Cheesecake Factory. I only go once a year, due to it being a rich people place. I also got Lego Winnie the Pooh. It was a great build. And that's what I did this birthday. Normally there's a moral or final say in these stories, but let's just say the message is everything goes better with friends. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, story over. Let's get to the questionnaires. Scuff196 says, this was so great. I love the behind the scenes. I like the summer splash that has more unique animations or the ones that have Plankton or Squidward. Also that voice body swapping one. Also, man, the story of your first theme song recreation is amazing. You were so passionate even back then. Aw, thanks Scuff. For those who don't know what he's talking about, check out the last Sab Talk, Sponge Talk. Cause there I mentioned the Nicktoons Summer Splash and potentially remaking it. So yeah, those are some good ideas. Christian the Thomas and Friends Alt Extra 2 says, I love the Salted Splatoon scene in this. Again, watch the last Sab Talk for context. But thanks, my dude. Make a Beg Bev version of Looney Tunes called Loontoon. You don't decide the names, I do. But that's not a bad idea. I feel bad for constantly replying to these Beg Bev requests, cause all I have to say is those are good ideas. I don't really have much to add. Max Sebic says, can you do the anchovy scene from Help Wanted in 3D? Nah fam, that's too much work. And I still need to finish that crabs model. Damon Davis says, what about the SpongeBob theme song birthday version? That's a good idea. I think the person who replied said it best. But if I can find a way to modify it to make it easier to animate, then maybe. But I'm not gonna do a direct shot per shot remake like the other one. I'm gonna spice it up because I don't want to make a CG Patchy head, and I'm sure you guys won't want it either. Also, if I dressed up in a pirate, it would look very cringy, and I'm not even gonna try it. Jace Gastulum says, hey Sam, I need you to actually make a nose on your anime. I mean, what is yourself do you to actually make a nose? What are you talking about? I have a nose. It's directly on my face. It's just invisible. SpongeBob Channel 2nd says, do the Mario opening. I'm sorry, I just had to do that meme. Are you talking about Super Mario Brothers Super Show, or are you talking about something like I did for Among Us, where it's a SpongeBob theme song just with Mario? The latter might be faster, but it'll also be cringy, so be warned. Elsie Garcia says, Sponge Block Square Blocks. Okay. And that was Sab Talk 53. If you have any other questions, please comment them below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For a question this week, got blank? It's not milk this time. The question last week was, if you could visit any fictional location, where would you go? Amaze Game says, if I could go to any fictional location, it'd be very close between Steven Universe and Monsters Inc., since they are my favorite shows and movies respectively. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan all extra 2 says, if I could go to any fictional location, I would go to the island of Sodor. And for news this week, it's basically just the same as last Sab Talk. I am still working on that Gibbs short. We are in the coloring and shading phase, and Grunge Bunge is still in the works. Okay, let's get to Sab story time. Does anyone like mild inconveniences? I do! Interrupt me again and I call your parents. I'm sure most people don't like mild inconveniences. Unless you're Billy. A mild inconvenience is where someone or something starts creating obstacles towards your goal. Or just in general. And if you could believe it, this happened to me 3 times, 3 days in a row, and this happened recently. So let's talk about them, shall we? Inconvenience number 1. I was waking up feeling hungry, so I ordered Eggs Benedict from Uber Eats. I was like, today's going to be normal. I'm just going to walk out of my college dorm, go to the gate, get my order, and re-enter the dorm. Well, I was right. Except for that last part. You see, where I live, we have key cards to open our doors. And for whatever reason, mine kept showing red. So I walked all the way to the front desk for a new one. The entrance to the building I lived in, which was on the right to the front desk, requires a key card too. Though at the first attempt, someone opened the door for me. I swiped it and it was still red. Not only did it work for my dorm, but it didn't work for that building. Nothing was working, my Eggs Benny was getting cold, and I was getting pissed off. But I kept my cool to the best of my abilities since the front desk lady was helping me out. She ended up using her key to get me in, and I had someone from maintenance fix the card. So he did it. Or so we thought. Which leads to Inconvenience 2. Electric Boogaloo. I was waking up feeling hungry, minus the waking up part, so I ordered Taco Bell from Uber Eats. I was like, today's going to be normal. I'm just gonna walk out, get my order, and go back to my dorm. Well, I was right, except for that last part. You know what, to spice things up, how about we play a game of what happens next? Was it A, I made it in and ate my Taco Bell, B, I got evicted, C, I left my wallet in the middle of the road, or D, mutant grasshoppers invaded my dorm? The answer is E. I swiped my card and it was red. So blah blah blah, I talked to the front desk to give me another key. This time was very strange since the card was turning green for everything but my room. And unlike last time, the front desk didn't have a key to let me in. So I waited for a few minutes for maintenance to let me in, and I got so mad I slammed my Taco Bell on the floor. It was still in good condition though when I eventually ate it. Long story short, maintenance fixed it, and it turns out the code was weird or something. I didn't fully understand what he was telling me. but it's fixed, and hopefully another situation doesn't happen like this again. Inconvenient 3. I promise this isn't a keycard story. After the birthday stream, I talked to Scuff, Drew, and Coco about doing a full stream together. Everything worked out, and everyone agreed on Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Scuff picked me up an hour early, and we went to his place so you guys wouldn't have to hear my annoying computer buzzer for once. We set everything up. The layout, the capture card, the YouTube comments that actually worked this time, and we all called to test everything out. It was 5:48 and we were really close to starting the stream at its intended time. But out of the blue, out of freaking nowhere, when Scuff was placing Coco's VTuber in OBS, the power went out. Not only for Scuff's place, but for everyone in the neighborhood. I was losing my mind. I'm normally never late for a stream before. And even when I was late for a stream, never to this extent. I was scared the stream wasn't gonna happen. After a while, we all decided to call through Discord to pass the time. We had mobile data, so the disconnect was mild. We used this as an opportunity to get to know each other better. I know Scuff and Drew, but although I knew Coco longer, we never called like this other than the birthday stream. And Drew and Scuff only figured out who Coco was through me. So we talked about stuff like our favorite cartoons, how we met, artist things, dark pasts, and even things that we wouldn't have been able to say on stream. We all agreed that even if the stream didn't happen, that the meetup wasn't a complete waste of time, since at the end of the day, it made us stronger as friends. However, out of nowhere, the power turned on for a few minutes. Then it turned on again for a longer period of time. So as some of you probably know, the stream happened later than the intended date. And despite this, a ton of people still joined us, making 111 views once the stream ended. Some even played games with us via Mario Kart and Animal Crossing. As you might have noticed, this week, or last week since this comes out Monday, has been pretty unlucky. However, that doesn't mean these experiences were completely awful. I still ate the eggs Benny and Taco Bell I ordered, and the power outage brought some of my favorite people together. So if there's anything to take away from this, even if the world throws curveballs at you, there can still be light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, time for questions. Ollie Disney CR says, sorry I'm late, but question. What do you think about Season 7 Plus SpongeBob is censored by Nick UK? I've seen quite a bit of censorships, and yeah, it's certainly interesting. Aiden the Railfan 21 says, I got a SpongeBob question. Can you do the I like trains meme, but it's Patrick that gets run over by the train, cause he has a brain and is also dumb? Nah, I'm good. Pretty good idea though. SBS 10 Animation says, oh god, that's so damn creepy at A16. I'm sorry I freaked you out. Wanna see it again? Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, Sab is on the Toon Squad. Indeed I am. As a matter of fact, none of the Looney Tunes are going to return to the sequel. Now they're just my characters. And since we couldn't get LeBron James, we got the Pacergram fitness test guy.
The Fitnessgram Pacer test is going to kick some booty.
So stay tuned in a million years for Pacergram fitness test jam. Yay! Have you seen Disney and Pixar's Luca? I really want to, but I don't have Disney Plus. Perfect SpongeBob Popsicle says, can you watch Space Jam and Space Jam 2? I've seen both. I like them, mostly ironically. Bugs Bunny 123 says, is mayonnaise an instrument? No, Bugs Bunny, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either. As a reminder, the question this week is got blank. It's not milk this time. If you have any other questions, please comment them below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk 55. For a question this week, if you had to be stuck on a deserted island with one SpongeBob character, who would it be? It doesn't have to be specifically SpongeBob, you can make it any other character. Also shout out to EpicPink29 for suggesting this question.
It's cool, Sab. We still vacationing in the Bermuda Triangle?
Last week's question was, got blank. It's not milk this time. Kau Hudson says, got cheese. It's not milk. Lemsy Veray says, got cheese. It's not milk this time. Out of context Ollie says, got Danny, not milk. Because Danny likes milk. Also, he's a YouTuber. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, got Krabby Patties. It's not milk. The Terrific Rotten Princess says, got bagel. It's not milk. JP Plush Pragutin says, got a Mulan. And lastly, SpongeBob Master says, For news this week, I can talk about your projects now. That's right, I can make a video about your projects. Cartoons, parodies, SpongeBob theme songs, sure why not, whatever you're passionate about. You can send them via the Sab Nino Discord, under the Sab Talk channel, or via email, and I could give a thoughtful, in-depth critique on it, and spread the word out. Also, this Friday, What is Gib comes out. I just released a trailer, so look out for that. And remember Misfit News? That's coming back. We have everything recorded, and that should be out not this Friday, but hopefully the Friday after that. But I'll keep you posted. Okay, with all that said, let's get to Sab story time. Do any of you have dreams? No, not the ones that you have when you're sleeping. Though, that would be a good Sab story time. But things that you want to have, places you want to go, passions you want to pursue. I do! That's the spirit, Billy. So today I wanted to share some with you, and hopefully start a discussion. Let's start from the very beginning. No, not the Big Bang Theory, but my childhood. As a kid, I watched the bonus features of SpongeBob DVDs, so I got to watch all the amazing people who worked on it. So naturally, I wanted to meet the crew. Maybe even work with them one day. The main guy I wanted to meet was Steven Hillenburg, since even as a kid, I always thought he was a talented and chill dude to talk to. Sadly, I never met him due to his passing, but that doesn't stop me from paying tribute to him every now and then. Another thing I wanted to do was meet some artists, mainly Sherm Collins, since his drawing tutorials on DVDs were a huge influence on my artistic journey. Though I never met the crew in person, I've talked to a few of them through Twitter and other means, like interviews. Also, I don't mean to brag, but Sherm Collins liked one of my SpongeBob drawings, so although I never met him, I can safely say we've interacted. I also wanted to meet Tom Kenny, and still do. My mom and I always wanted to go to the San Diego Comic-Con to meet the big guns, the SpongeBobs, the Steven Yews, the Fox Block, probably Marvel, all those big names, the things people talk about, the mainstream. Sadly, we never did. But I still really want to go one day. Though, in general, I love meeting artists and VAs in general. The novelty of hearing a familiar voice or seeing a familiar style of a show/comic you've held dear is really cool. I could go into specifics, but the list is very long, and names will probably be left out anyway because I'm a scatterbrain. So I've talked about a ton of people I want to meet, but what about material goods? Don't worry, I have way too many of those. The first thing is simply SpongeBob merch. Vintage SpongeBob merch, especially toys. I love toys. I also really want to get some old Lego sets, but the problem is I'm not rich. And I got really lucky when I saw the Build-A-Bob at a con. Maybe a gangster shirt due to the memes? Scuff, you're watching this. Let's get matching shirts. Speaking of vintage stuff, I also wanted to start collecting OG Powerpuff Girls merch, but unfortunately 90% of the merch now is the reboot, and there is no way I'm buying that. However, there is a fashion line with OG PPG designs on them, so I'll probably get one of those. Eli, if you're watching this, let's get matching shirts. Anime figures are also something I want to get into more, but just like the issue with Lego SpongeBob, I'm not rich, so I have to start small for now. Something I've always wanted was a Miku shrine of figurines, since there are so many Miku figures and they look really cool. They have amazing attention to detail. I also wanted a Miku voice bank, but one, not rich, and two, I don't know what I'd do with it. Are the Miku figures, I'd get some from other animes I enjoy, like K-On!, maybe Nichijou, Pop Team Epic, Madoka, all that jazz. Though if I had to pick one dream, it would have to be working as an animator. You might be thinking, but you're already an animator. What makes that so special? Well, yes, but as a hobby. I'm talking about working for television, maybe streaming. That depends on if television dies by the time I graduate from college. I'd probably start with working on other people's cartoons first, but one day I want to pitch my own ideas to a network like Another Random Day, Grunge Buns, Gummy and Marshy, many others. So yeah, I have so many wants and dreams to the point where you might call me greedy. I hope this doesn't come off as a glorified wish list. But we all have dreams, we all have wants, and I'm sure we can achieve most of them eventually. All it takes is a good mindset and ambition. Okay, questions. CEC Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa, and Garden Grove says, hey, I have a question. What is the font on your logo on your channel banner? Specifically the Nino part. The Sab part is AR Christie, and Nino is Showcard Gothic. Shout out to Brody the Crappy Off brand and Warner Bros. Fan 2016 for helping me find that Sab font. I forgot what it was for literal years, so it helps a ton. Sponge Hashi Squarepants says, request. SpongeBob SquarePants, but it's Hatsune Miku Vocaloid intro, and created by Krypton Feature Media Inc. If you've seen the Sab story time in this video, you probably know I do not have a Miku voice bank. I can't do that, nor do I know anyone with a Miku voice bank, and even if I did, I doubt they'd make Miku sing the SpongeBob theme song. It's so niche. You forgot to do my intro. Nah, I didn't forget. I just don't want to do it. I'm not doing SpongeBob intros for like people, because eventually that would just lead to a lot of people asking me, can you do me? Can you do me? Can you insert me into the SpongeBob intro? Besides, you already made one. You did the work for me. Out of context, Ollie says, have you seen how hard the rooftop levels in BFBB rehydrated? I can barely get past it. Are you talking about the ones with the falling floors where you beat up a bunch of robots? Or are you talking about the bungee jumps where you smash all the tikis? If you're talking about the latter, it is really hard. I passed it numerous times as a matter of fact, but it is hard. Aiden the Real Fan 21 says, I have a question that isn't SpongeBob related. Have you heard of a movie called Stranger Things? Because I've seen all 3 seasons, and for my opinion, I think the 3rd season is really awesome. Also, here's a fun fact. Stranger Things 4 will get released next year. A non-SpongeBob related question? That just never happens. I never got into Stranger Things. I've heard good things about it, but never really seemed like my cup of tea. But I hope season 4 is good though. I got a SpongeBob question. 1. How come you can't make the Unreal Estate theme songs? Well, I can, I just don't want to. I'm not gonna say yes or no on if I ever will. 2. You could just use a different voice for the pirate, just like you did for the Who Bob theme song. Well, if I did the Unreal Estate, I doubt it's copyright. Why would Viacom copyright audio of parody theme songs for like a quick gag? But if it does for some stupid reason end up copyrighted, I'd probably use a Mr. Krabs Uber Duck AI or something. SpongeBob Master says, have you seen Ed's World before? A few episodes. Out of what I've seen, it's pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of the early stuff though. I've seen mostly the new stuff where it's like really well animated. Really inspiring stuff. Max Sabic says, can you do I'm Ready scene from Help Wanted in 3D? Theoretically, I could, especially with the new SpongeBob model, but I don't want to get people's hopes up that the Help Wanted thing I made wasn't an April Fool's joke. I'm probably not gonna do that. Lemsy Variety says, can you watch Special Strike and Special Strike Rebellion? I looked up what it was a while ago. I think it's a FNAF thing. I'm not interested. As a reminder, if you had to be stuck on a deserted island with any SpongeBob or other characters, who would it be? If you have any other questions, please comment below. And as always, it's all Sab from here. Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk. For a question this week, fruity candy or chocolate candy? Comment below. The question last week was, if you could be stranded on an island with any SpongeBob character, or character in general, who would it be? Amaze Game says, practically speaking, I think Sandy would be the best character to be stranded on a deserted island with, but Krabs is a really close second, lol. Mback says, I'd be stuck on an island with Patchy the Pirate. The both of us are SpongeBob fans. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan all extra too says, if I were stuck on a island with someone, I would be with Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Fazbear and Official Gameplay and More says, it would be Coconut Fred as a food source. Then use his remains as a boat or something. SpongeBob Master says, it would be Gary. The Boyfriend says, it would be Minecraft Steve, because he would give me a boat. Lemsy Varay says, SpongeBob, Sonic, BF, and Freddy Fazbear my answer. SpongeBob Fanatic says, Sandy. For news this week, Misfit News Episode 2 should be coming out this Friday. I'm not going to reveal what characters are going to be in it. I want it to be a surprise, but hopefully you'll love it. I've been getting countless questions of when will the next Sab movie night be, since I mentioned I was going to do on the Patrick Star Show. Well, that's coming up really soon as well. No deadline set for that yet, but if I have to assume, possibly the Friday after the Friday that I make the Misfit News. Unless you want me to postpone a Sab Storytime video on Wednesday, otherwise I could just do that. Okay. Enough of that, let's get to Sab story time. For those who've seen my latest SpongeBob theme song video, you might have noticed 2 things. 1, it's really cringy, and 2, the text below the logo that says web series. Understandably, people asked if there was more to it than I'm showcasing. Sadly, no. But at one point, there was plans to make a SpongeBob SquarePants web series. So I thought I'd share what it could have been if I didn't scrap it way back in my tweens. The SpongeBob web series was just a SpongeBob fan fiction, plain and simple. Came up with ideas that I wanted to see at the time, make new characters, ship them, etc. The animation was originally going to use sprite sheets, but later on I wanted to do something more Max G inspired, where the expressions were very exaggerated and fluid, which would have been impossible considering I was stuck with paint.net for the longest time. I animated what the sprite animation would have looked like via a promo, but the Max G influenced animation never made it past the concept phase. Before I talk about the story, there's something I should point out beforehand. This was written in the early 2010s, specifically that YOLO swag Dick Figures Miley Cyrus era. Why do I bring this up? Easy. I had the genius idea to modernize SpongeBob. First episode was literally SpongeBob and Patrick trying to get the new shell pod, which if you couldn't tell was a parody of iPods. I was also going to make them say modern slang and reference pop culture. Patrick had a running gag about riding on a wrecking ball like that one Miley Cyrus music video. SpongeBob and Patrick would have been party dudes in some episodes. I basically predicted Powerpuff Girls 2016. Sadly, other than the first episode, I don't remember that much about the other stories since they were never written down, and the only things from those episodes that were written were visual gags. One of the ideas involved Bubble Bass returning as a rival, so SpongeBob had to train to make the best Krabby Patties he could for when he showed up. Another one was where SpongeBob and Patrick joined the Dutchman's crew. Wow, how original. But he had a girlfriend at one point in it, so yay. There was one story where Squidward teaches SpongeBob and Patrick how to paint. I forgot what the story was completely. All I know is it involved the main trio in paint. Probably one of the stupidest concepts I had was where Mr. Krabs creates a money house, and it's like a mansion with a pool, bowling alley, and whatever else I thought was funny. The series wasn't all episodic though. It did have story arcs. Poorly written story arcs, but I tried. SpongeBob had an arc where he was trying to figure out the perfect song to sing to propose to Sandy as a GF. I think the song was Lucky, not the Britney Spears one, but the duet one. I think Mr. Krabs had an arc where he used to work for the Flying Dutchman, and I thought Camp Coral was a retcon. As if the series wasn't bad enough. I also wanted to make movies. That's right, I wanted to milk this just like the current show is doing right now. The first concept I talked about was back in Sab Talk 18, so to save some time, I'll show a clip explaining the premise there.
The movie was originally just going to be called SpongeBob SquarePants. The story, if you even want to call it that, is SpongeBob and Patrick go to the surface to gather a ring from the Flying Dutchman. I think it gathers powers or something? But in the beginning of the movie, Plankton was about to retire until he runs into Pizza Castle employee Tony, and apparently hates SpongeBob as much as Plankton does. So they team up.
The only other one I remember was something to do with jellyfish, and it was fully CG, so in a way I accidentally predicted Sponge on the Run, minus the jellyfish. Also, if said movie had a higher budget, which would have never happened considering I just got into high school at that point, I would have recasted everyone with big name celebrities. All I remember is Bruno Mars as Squidward, Patrick as Florida, Sandy as Taylor Swift, and I would have been SpongeBob because God forbid Tom Kenny joins the cast where he belongs. No, I had to join the cast to boost my ego. As you could possibly tell due to the inflections in my voice, I really hate this idea now. This is Scoob levels of pandering. And this was before that film came out. So yeah, that was what could have been the SpongeBob SquarePants web series. So what happened to it? Easy. Another random day happened. Ever since I made that, I started focusing on original ideas and stories, and I still do to this day. Looking back at it and writing this script, I am really grateful I scrapped it. It was cringy, pandering, and I clearly did not understand why the show was good in the first place outside of a superficial level. I'm sure a lot of people would want me to revise this or reboot the scrapped web series, but honestly, I would rather put that time and effort into my own original stories and characters. If there's anything to take away from this, it's to remember your past. It might be cringe, it might make you want to slap your younger self, but I feel like it's necessary to look back at your past actions to improve yourself as a person. Don't dwell on them, of course, but just being aware of your past helps when constructing your future.
That was probably the most schmaltzy thing I've said so far. Normally, this is the part where I do the Q&A. However, I opened a new thing where I talk about videos that you guys submit. As a reminder, if you guys want to have your videos featured in a future Sab Talk, send them to me via Discord or my email. The first order of business is Aiden Bob MHK Pants. I can't show that much of it due to copyright, but the edits are pretty good. The only advice I could give is the bubble text, since I see you created a K and M using stretched out bubble shapes. So for those, I'd recommend taking the letters from the German opening text, since they have those letters in them. It would save you the extra effort. No wings allowed reanimated. Not too shabby. Though if I had to make a suggestion, it would be to incorporate a little bit more squash and stretch. For example, maybe have SpongeBob squish into the tough guy when he bumps into him, and when he falls onto the ground, you can have him squish down, up, and then reposition him back to his intended pose. Though I don't know if this feedback helps or not, since I don't know about the redo policy for the collab since I'm not in it. You don't have to take my advice if you don't want to. Either way, congrats on making it in. Patrick Star Show intro.
Patrick Star, and I am proud to be right back in my hometown.
It sucks, it's not even close to the Patrick Star intro. Nah, JK. In all seriousness, it's a fun concept. I always loved the Cleveland Show meme with this show, and although there's a ton of storyboard with this meme, I haven't seen many animations of it. The main critique I could give is that sometimes background change positions randomly, and sometimes the line work can be a little inconsistent. I like the addition of shading, though I feel like it lacks a light source. When Patrick turns around, his shading does the same thing, even though the shading should stay in the exact spot as it was in his first pose. The last thing I'd recommend is the same thing I suggested with SpongeBob 2021. Adding some squash and stretching to the animation could give it more energy. Despite all my nitpicks, I wish you the best of luck with the animation. I can't wait to see it finished. Okay, now Q&A. Max Savick says, can you make SpongeBob in different Slavic language? It doesn't need to be animated in 2D, but if you want to, you can. A lot of people really want me to do part 2 of the internationals thing, huh? Well, I don't know. I might do it eventually, I might not. But if I did, that would be pretty possible. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan Alt Extra 2 says, sometime you should do a Beg Beb style Powerpuff Girls parody, considering you mentioned it in your story last time. Would it shock you that I've thought about that? I haven't came up with what the parody would be, I haven't even done the designs, but the Uberdeck AI is waiting for me to use it, so that is a pretty high possibility. Lemsy Veray says, 3 questions. 1. Can you remake the Lost episode walk cycle? Maybe. It could help me test out my new rig. 2. Can you react to the Boss Baby Back to Business? I'm not a reaction channel. Sorry. 3. Can you make Sab Talk 100 how Sab Talk originally was? I don't know what we're gonna do for Sab Talk 100, but realistically I probably won't. Mainly because I'd want to do something special. Out of context, Ollie says, have you seen my Sab Talk inspired series, Ollie Talk? As a matter of fact, I have. And don't worry, I will not sue ya. I like to think that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But by the first episode, it's pretty good. I can't wait to see more, dude. Paperboy said, make the Sonic the Hedgehog title screen, please. I appreciate you asking politely, but nah, I'm good. Impact says, if there's some from a show or movie that you watched that you were afraid of as a kid or baby, does DeviantArt count? That's hard to say, but I remember when I was very young, I was really afraid of SpongeBob's transformation in I Was a Teenage Gary, and when I first saw the toenails scene, I freaked out, and for a while I could not watch that scene no matter how hard I tried, but eventually I was able to watch it. I forgot what else scared me, if I'm being honest. I'm sure a lot of the gory stuff in Family Guy freaked me out. A lot of Robot Chicken stuff, but I wouldn't really consider those like traumatic. Amaze Game says, Sab Talk's gonna get a lot longer, lol. You're right. Emperortrix Kembo says, I will do a SpongeBob theme song and next Saturday, I think. Okay. Miles Tales Per Hour says, Sab, go to sleep. It's the middle of the night. Excuse me? I'm a grown adult. I don't have a curfew. SpongeBob SquarePants 456 says, I have a non-SpongeBob question. Do you hate the Cars for Kids commercial? It's cringy, but I don't hate it. Kahoo Hutchison says, I got in. Now you got in twice. As a reminder, this week's question is, fruity or chocolate candy? If you have any other questions, please comment them below. Or if you have any videos you want me to check out from your channel, send them through Discord or my email. And with all that said, it's all Sab from here. that's a shame, Stab. How will we ever get to the recording room now?
We must think of a plan. A most evil plan.
Good point, Stab. If we can figure out a plan to fix the car, maybe we can make it on time.
Yes, yes.
Now let me think. Hey, what's that over there? Maybe they can help us. Hello? Anyone here? I don't think anyone's here, Stab.
Stab sees evil things.
Oh, isn't that strange?
I tell you, cuz, they don't make the jalapeno special as well as Pete's and Joey's.
Can you hand me a slice? You're right, those slices are tiny.
Where are we going anyway, cuz?
We're meeting my other cousin, Lane Purple 29. Good to see you again, Cousin Purple.
Boy, am I glad to see you guys. Things have been wild around here ever since the carnival became haunted.
Haunted? How so?
There have been rumors of a giant gorilla terrorizing the folk who visit the carnival docks late at night. Folks have been reported howling in incomprehensible shadows. It's not been good for my recording business.
A monster driving away my cousin's business and terrifying people? That is not epic.
Okay, calm down, cuz. I don't want to have to do a metal transplant. Say, Purple, has anyone seen the monster?
As a matter of fact, yes. Come inside.
It was really weird. We were trying to get to the recording for Sab Talk Halloween, and a strange gorilla thing came out of nowhere and took our script.
Awful. Stab says awful.
It sounds like whoever this monster is, it doesn't want its epic guests to get to the recording studio across town.
If it's alright with you guys, I would like to help you trap this monster. I like traps.
Sounds good.
Epic!
Well, first we gotta get to the docks. Alright, gang, here's the plan. Epic Pink and Teeny Pink, you two draw him into the courtyard here, and when he gets close by, we'll shoot him with the tranquilizer gun. Got it?
Radio, Sab, sir.
Are you feeling okay, cuz?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I told you that we needed to share that jalapeno special.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me.
If it wasn't you, then who could it be?
Ooh, maybe it was me. Do you have any aspirin?
Baby or regular?
Actually, is there a restroom nearby?
I think there's a porta potty.
Yeah, hold on. I don't think I want to use one of those.
Can you hold it?
Run!
Here we come!
Now let's see who the monster really is. Mr. Giggles. So, Mr. Giggles thought he could steal my script for the Halloween Sab Talk because he wasn't included in the episode. What? You don't have the script? Then who does?
Oh, I have that. I was actually going to steal it from you if I wasn't included in this week's episode.
Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to Sab Talk Halloween. You know, a lot of people have been asking me, Sab, why the Fred costume? And I always tell them the same thing. Why don't you mind your own business, pal? For our question this week, what is your favorite Halloween special? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And last question was, fruity or chocolate candy? And we got quite a bit of replies, so strap in folks. Scuff196 says chocolate candy all the way. Fruity are good too though. SpongeBob the Vlogger says chocolate candy because it's super good, but fruity candy is good too. Kristen to Thomas and Friends fan All Extra 2 says chocolate candy rules. Lemsy's Pretty Cool Channel says answer, why not both? And Thax says
chocolate
Chocolate!
JP Plus Production says, SpongeBob Master says, fruity candy 100%. Letitia Fonseca says, fruity candy. And lastly, Duck says, fruity. For news this week, we have new Sab Talk merch in the Redbubble store. Just about anything you can think of. Masks, coffee mugs, t-shirts, posters, anything you want, you can have. Links in the description. Other than that, there's not much to say. Just SpongeBob is still in the works, trying to branch out content as usual. SpongeBob themes are a must. And that's about it. Okay, time for Sab's video submissions. MPAC submits the Mike and Friends episode, You Can't Handle the Booth.
Maybe just one strip of pics. Quickly, because the movie starts at 10 minutes.
I've seen a few episodes of Mike and Friends, though I let MPAC decide which one he wanted me to look at. This short has a lot of charm to it. It reminds me a lot of the early days of YouTube, along with a lot of my early work, since Mike and Friends often uses SpongeBob / Ren and Stimpy music, which I used to do a lot with early episodes of Another Random Day. The critiques I have are mostly technical, mainly stuff like backgrounds and characters, delaying when cutting to the next shot, and a little bit of pixelation around the ink and coloring, but I'm sure that'll get better with time. Another thing I'd recommend working on are proportions. I like the round designs of all the characters. It gives the show a unique look. It makes me say, yep, that's Mike and Friends. Though sometimes proportions, mainly in the facial / body region, are often too close to each other. It's mostly fine, but sometimes we have instances like this image of Ashley where the mouth is very close to her nose, or in the beach episode where nips can show up on the side or in between the character's mouth. Those are the main things I would work on. But when comparing episode 1 to this, I've certainly seen some massive improvement throughout the series. I wish you the best of luck with the next episodes. Cameron Jacobs submits, I'm not even gonna do a caption, just watch it.
Dude, check out this SpongeBob umbrella I just got. Dude, that's bad luck. Chill out, bro.
Who summoned me?
I saw this on TikTok before you emailed it to me, and I loved it. You're legit the first person who animated my 3.0 Sab Nino avatar. Sure, I've gotten fan art, but never animation, so thank you. The audio's funny too. I can see why you animated me and Scuff with this sound, since we're both Bob Nuts. The only critique I have is that I look really accurate, but Scuff doesn't. Other than that, I'm both flattered and laughing my butt off to this. Thanks a ton. As always, if you want me to check out a video, please send it through Discord or my email. Now that that's taken care of, let's get on to the Q&A. Scuff196 says, what do you think the least worst
SpongeBob episode
is? It's easier picking ones that I absolutely despise. I guess in terms of least worst, maybe Fun Size Friends, because at least that has some good animation and it has a cute premise. Ink Lemonade makes for some good ironic enjoyment. Toy Story of Doom. I'm sure there's others that are like bad but not awful, but those are just the ones I could think of off the top of my head. SpongeBob the Vlogger says, questions. 1. Could you make the web series as an April Fool's in 2022? I would, but now the April Fool's joke is predictable, so I can't do that. Look, buddy, for April Fool's, you gotta catch people off guard. So by simply asking that for an April Fool's joke, that means I'm not gonna do it. 2. Are you excited that SpongeBob is coming back to Burger King in October? Are you talking about the Camp Coral toys? I've seen a few videos of them. Yeah, I'm excited. I might collect a few of them. Christian, the Thomas and Friends fan, Alt Extra 2 says, I just saw What Is Good, and it was amazing. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. M Spook says, did you ever have a previous YT channel besides the one you have now? Well, I do have one channel called SpongeBob1491, but it's pretty much abandoned, but it was going to be an archive of all my old videos. Though I have thought about making another channel, I've never really figured out what to do with it. SpongeBob Master says, will you make You Got Game 2? I want to. However, it's been a lot harder than I expected to come up with the premise. Not because there's nothing to add, but because there's too many ideas. But if I do think of something, I will make it. What is your favorite YouTuber? Do I really have to answer that? It's hard to say. There's a lot of YouTubers I like. It's constantly changing. I'm just gonna say yes. Out of context, Ollie says, question, what's the dog doing? The dog's non-existent, because I don't have one. Duck says, make the SpongeBob intro but poorly drawn. Maybe one day, that wouldn't be that hard to do. But in the meantime, I have the evolution video of my first ever SpongeBob theme song and Beg Beb. Although it isn't poorly drawn, Beg Beb is a poorly designed character. Bambi Corn Lover says, make yourself as a me. Okay, somebody asked me to do a me. Here we go. Let's start from scratch. The first thing about Sab 3.0, that his head is square, also known as the shape of evil. The hair's the hardest part. Let's go with this one. Most of my glasses designs don't have any like irises or like eye holes or anything. It's just this. Dang it, I have to include a nose. Let's see if I can cleverly... There we go. Now he has no nose. Just as nature intended. Let's make it a lighter shade of brown. And favorite color, obviously light blue. And if this is your favorite, then I don't know, maybe get them these. It's the closest thing we have to pink. Why aren't there pink pants in this game? Ooh, Sab 3.0 is a me. Woo, Sab Talk. Fazbear Ent official gameplay and more says, Poggers, my favorite Chuck E. Cheese quote.
Poggers!
And lastly, Notorious JKB says, what's that PNG? Nothing? As a reminder, the question this week is, what's your favorite Halloween special? And if you have any other questions, please comment them below. Or if you have any video submissions, please email them to me or send them through the Discord server. Also, a huge shout out to Notorious JKB for helping me with the music as always, along with writing the intro for this episode. And with all that said, it's all spooky from here.
Yo, what up? This is Cringy, and you're watching Cringe Talk. I legit have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but I'll try my best. The question in this episode is, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done? Comment below. Last episode's question was, what's your favorite Halloween special? Aiden the Railfan 21. My favorite Halloween special is the SpongeBob Halloween theme song on Nickelodeon because at the end of the song, SpongeBob turns into Squidward. Not a Halloween special, but okay. M-Pack. It's the Gray Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Let's see. Scaredy Pants, Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom? Yikes. What's with all the fanatics? Personally, I like Nightmare Before Christmas. It speaks to me on a personal level, since it's weird and it doesn't know how to make up its fucking mind. What's that? News? Gotcha. The first episode of the Grunge Bunch Chronicles is in the works as we speak. It has comedy, it has drama, and it has tons of weed smoke. To show support, buy some merch or watch the pilot. Huh. I looked way different back then. To add on to that, if you want to ask me and my homies questions, comment below, cause after this, we might answer them when we feel like it. The weird monkey from earlier told me that I needed a story, and I was like, which one? I have so many of them. So this is the one I decided to tell, so buckle up. So get this, me and Dabby were just sitting on the couch watching TV and smoking. Then Laurel's all like, Cringy, you need a job. And I was all like, aw, do I have to? After bickering for 5 minutes straight, I signed up for my first job. Then, all of a sudden, I woke up. After that, I microwaved some cereal and joined Dabby for our weekly aerobics session. But then I thought, we don't do aerobics. Then I woke up yet again, microwaved a jar of peanut butter, and joined Laurel on our vacation too. I woke up again, but Dabby was in my bed. It was just an endless cycle of waking up from the same dream until eventually I woke up for real. You may be wondering, how did I know for sure? Easy. I jumped out of the window and landed in a hospital. Ever since that day, I have 20-minute intermissions after each hour of sleep, and that's how I maintain my sanity. Let's check out what the comment section left us. SBS10 animation. Which SpongeBob Halloween episode is better, Scaredy Pants or The Legend of Bikini Bottom? I don't know the episode names, dude. Which one had SpongeBob dressing up as the Flying Dutchman? I never watched the second one. I gave up on SpongeBob after the first movie. Fiery the Friday Night Funkin' Fan 2010. Have you played Friday Night Funkin' vs Sonic.exe mod yet or not? I know jack shit about Friday Night Funkin'. Sounds like a porno. Laurel might know about it though. Maybe I'll ask someday. Your favorite Friday Night Funkin' mod? For me, it's B3 Remix and B-Side. Laurel! What the hell is Friday Night Funkin'? I asked Laurel about it. I still don't get it. TR Studios. I also have some questions. Well, don't keep me in suspense, just spit them out. 1. What do you think of the disturbing scenes of SpongeBob SquarePants from the pre-movie era? Of f***ing course it's a SpongeBob question. I love the disturbing shit in SpongeBob. The I don't need it meme is such a mood. 2. Do you want to be friends? Sorry, I don't trust online strangers. 3. Who would you prefer is better? Beavis and Butthead or Ren and Stimpy? Beavis and Butthead? MTV cartoons were the shit. 4. Have you ever knew about Space Bob and Vader Pants and Krabs Army? Again, I stopped watching SpongeBob after the movie. Anything past that, I know nothing about. And 5. I have a title card video I wanted to show you. And here it is. Cool. Max Sabick. Can you do SpongeBob Krusty Krab Pizza song in 3D? What, with 3D glasses? I don't know anything about video editing, but Laurel does. So I'll see if they have some time.
The crab pizza is the pizza absolutely.
SpongeBob best channel ever. Hello. Sup. Emperatrice Campos. Make a other episode next Saturday. I'll do it when I feel like it. Don't rush me. Out of context Ollie. Have you ever played Roblox? If so, have you ever played any of the Pet Simulator games? Never heard of any of those, but I've played a Pet Simulator game before. It's called a cat. That's all we have time for today. So if you have any other questions for me and the pack, feel free to leave a comment.
Hello, random person, Sab. How long was I out?
About like 30 minutes.
Cringy, what the hell? I gave you a show and this is how you repay me?
Calm your tits, Sab. I could be doing more good than harm with this takeover.
Uh-huh, sure. Give me one good reason why this was a good idea.
People who watch Sab Talk can discover the Grunge Bunch Chronicles through this episode, and people who saw the Grunge Bunch pilot can learn what Sab Talk is. Therefore, both of us get the publicity we deserve.
That was actually very well thought out. Thanks for the takeover.
No problemo. If you ever need someone to invade your show, just hit me up.
I will. Thanks, Cringy. Well, if you have any other questions for me or Cringy, comment them below. And the links for video submissions will be listed on the screen right now. And as always, it's all Sab from here.